feel resurrected.
Yeah, I hope you do, because that was a very uplifting experience, if I say so myself.
How so?
I mean, it's like I feel almost like I was brought back from the dead in some way, because now I'm finally, alive after not watching this movie. I hate you.
Wow.
Just so you know that.
Okay, well, tonight's movie was Halloween Resurrection from the beautiful year of 2002. You were 7.
Yeah.
And I was 6.
You were I
guess it was still pretty painful for both of us. Even though we didn't see it at the time, we knew that there was something bad in the air. Because, you had 9/11 happen the year before this.
Right, so this literally was thanks to 9/11 is what you're trying to say.
This is like
right?
9/11 part 2.
Okay. Yeah, this is the sequel to 9/11, everybody. So you understand. That's why our country's been in such a, tumultuous past, couple decades, is because of this fucking movie. So,
yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, that's a great way to start this podcast. I'm AC.
And I'm Scrooge.
And this is a real
bad movie.
It is. So, in the beautiful year of 2002, we get this glorious film. Let's talk about, though, before we get into that, let's talk about our backstory with the Halloween franchise. Obviously, I was a big fan of it.
Yep.
Saw the first film when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Big horror movie fan. But let's hear it from you, Scrooge, because I'm curious.
Okay, well, as you asked me, and as you brought up the year 2002, now I'm thinking about... back when I used to really watch Sci-Fi Channel. Remember the Sci-Fi Channel?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I remember you just brought back a memory of probably one of the first horror movies I remember seeing of, like, we'll say the trifecta of Jason, Freddy, and Michael Myers was probably Freddy versus Jason, actually, because I remember that being played on the Sci-Fi Channel. I remember seeing that. So that's probably like one of the first, like, horror movies I remember seeing of the trifecta there. But after that, the longest point, I never really got into any of it. I know the characters, I knew them, obviously, because I'm not an idiot either. I follow pop culture enough to at least know everything. But
cultured man.
Yeah, I try to be.
Very cultured
I like to
man.
pretend to be, because that way I'm interesting to women, or at least I pay them to pretend like they're interested anyways.
Well, here's another thing you can use when you talk to a woman.
Now I can, because think about how many women are like, oh my god, I love horror movies. It's so great. I'm like, oh really? Yeah, because I saw Halloween Resurrection. They're gonna look at me and go, well, I got to get going.
Yeah.
I just noticed that I got to get
the
my
door's
laundry.
over there.
Oh
Yeah.
man, my laundry's running. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. They're like, well, good night.
Yeah.
Well, but my one group of filmmaker friends that I made a few years ago, they were really into all different kinds of genres of film, and my one buddy's a real big horror guy, and so he's the type of
give him a shout out.
Tim, my boy, my big boy, Timothy Schaefer. He's out there somewhere, probably telling everybody that he's right, because he always is. That's one of his favorite things. So he's a huge horror buff. He, Jason, Freddy, all that good stuff. He's watched all of them. He's got the collection, series of each, franchise. And
does he have the box set?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous he has the box set.
Because I don't know all of them. He just showed us. He's got there's like 2 separate different Jason box sets right now. That it had a picture of it was like a drawing of Jason.
Yes,
that was,
that's
black.
the newest one.
Yeah, he's got that.
Because there's a couple different ones. There's one where it's like 8 discs in one, and those are always weird to me. It's like a collection, but so Halloween has one as well where it's 2 separate Blu-rays, but there's 4 movies in each.
Yeah.
But then they also came out with an 8-disc one for Friday the 13th, and I don't know. I think that's just cheap, putting 8 discs in one giant box. When I think of box set, I think every single individual movie.
I think it's all about how they do it. Take that real, so we don't get off topic too quickly. But
we're not talking about much tonight.
Oh,
so
okay.
Don't
all
worry,
right.
Don't
well,
worry.
then don't worry. I'll make sure. To fill this time up. Then we'll take a look at my Bruce Lee box set from Criterion. Mm-hmm. I love it. I do. But it does also kind of have that setup where you pop it open and it flips open from the middle out like a book. And then you have the discs stacked on each other.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying popping the discs in and out. I mean, it is kind of weird when you have that set up. I do prefer having each individual one.
Yeah.
But my attitude is as long as I can get them out, get it out and it's fine. The idea is always in and out, quick as possible.
Obviously.
Just blow and go. So you want to make sure that you make it quick. But I do have this feeling like I'm going to just pop the disc in half
and break
it. So that's probably what kills it. So my buddy, he's huge into horror. And my friend group is the type that if we're hanging out, they'll literally just pop on something most of the time. We don't even discuss what we want to watch. It's just like, okay, we're gonna put this in. So he'd be like, yeah, man, have you seen any of the Halloween movies? And I'd be like, or I'd say something. He's like, no, you haven't. So one time he was like 3 a.m. after, because him and I worked at the a bar doing bar security together, so we would hang out after last call and stuff. And one time I remember it was like 2:30 in the morning. It's like, oh, let's pop on the first Halloween movie. And so I watched that. I missed probably like 20 minutes of it.
The original,
the original. John Carpenter's first one.
There's
John Carpenter's
Halloween,
first one.
and then there's Rob Zombie's Halloween, and then there's also the newest one. For some fucking reason, they called it Halloween as well. So there's 3 movies in the series.
The first John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween, the first one.
Okay.
I watched the entire thing. It was late, and that was pre-Bang. That was before I got into
before the Bangs. Explain the Bangs to the audience.
Oh, well, if you haven't heard the gospel of the Bang, then please let me enlighten you. That one day, I think it was on the 7th day, God opened up the heavens and said, "Let there be Bang," and it just flowed straight from the heaven right into my mouth. So it was as simple as that. Bang Energy is the shout out to my homies at Bang, whoever, I don't even care who makes Bang.
Let's get you sponsored.
You're my daddy,
honestly.
Okay? Because Bang is the best energy drink. Why? Let me tell you real quickly. You know why?
We're not sponsored by Gang in any way, by the way.
You know why? You know why it's the best?
Why?
Take a guess why.
Why is
Bang
because the best? Why is Gang Bang the best?
Gang banging is always the best.
Of course.
We fully endorse that here at the show.
Yeah, we're sponsored by Gang Bangs. But
we are very sponsored, which I think I'm probably, I'll make sure I'm not late for that one later. Anyway, so Bang Energy, each can has 300 milligrams of caffeine per serving with no sugar and no calories. So that means you're just getting pure caffeine into your system, baby. Now those weak-minded fools that drink like Monster and Red Bull. I used to drink Monster. The days of the bar I'm telling you about when I used to hang out with him, I'd be drinking Red Bull and I'd immediately crash. You know why? Because Red Bull has 116 milligrams of caffeine with like 50 grams of sugar. So you get half the caffeine, you get the sugar crash, and you just end up, jerking yourself off in an alleyway.
Yeah.
Where Bang, you drink one Bang, and you're literally shooting your ass off into space and conquering Mars. So that's why we drink Bang, baby.
Of course.
Okay. So this is pre-Bang, so I kind of fell asleep during some of it, but I did watch the rest, all of it. All of it that I was awake for. So, but I did like it for what I did see. I saw the first one.
Yeah, it's an easy movie to fall asleep to. It's pretty chilled. It's pretty quiet.
It was pretty. I think I fell asleep.
Relaxed.
It was like right before the ending, and then I woke up. He gets shot, and then Dr. Loomis and everything. Mm-hmm. So I missed out on that. Then at some point during one of our hangouts, I think that's what they were doing, a marathon. They were doing a marathon.
They always do. Yeah.
I came in at.
Oh wait, your friends were, or TV was? Oh, okay.
No,
they're usually on TV like sci-fi and stuff. They'll do.
Well, so my friends like doing marathons too as well. So at this point, because what would happen is that I'd usually, because I'm from a different city, so I'd come in and they would already be hanging out doing something. They were already watching the Halloween movies, and I came in and they were on the 3rd Halloween movie, Season of the Witch.
God.
And I didn't really know anything about any of this, so I just sat there and watched it and didn't realize it had nothing to do with Michael Myers or any of that crap. So I watched that, and then finally when the reboot came around, they invited me to go to the
2018 one. Just clear it up.
Sorry, yeah.
There also is
right.
A Rob
I forgot.
Zombie
My
one.
bad. Yeah, the 2018, written by frickin' Danny McBride of all people. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, I know.
Which is amazing because I was thoroughly impressed. So we watched that in theaters, and I liked that one. Yeah. It was good.
It's fun.
So those
it's
are the
fun.
3
yeah.
before I got resurrected today. Those are the 3 I was used to. Like I said, I knew enough about how there was multiple remakes. Like any other horror franchise, there's 17,000 sequels and movie entries. But yeah, that was my introduction to it.
Yeah, like obviously the first one will always be known as the best, hands down. Though I do recommend 4. I think 4 is an excellent addition to the series.
Yeah.
And even fans out there, they even asked Tim. Possibly Tim might know. 4 is.
I will actually ask him.
Really, seriously.
I'm gonna tell him how much of a shit movie this one was, but then I'm gonna ask him about his other favorites.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Talk to him about this one for sure. But 4 is just a wonderful flick. Like in the sense of atmosphere, because the first one definitely has a great atmosphere. 4 has a wonderful one, and it's just I don't know. It's a well shot movie and it's fun. It came in at a time where in the 80s slashers were huge. Friday the 13th was huge.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street was huge. Just slashers in general. Everyone trying to make the next Friday the 13th. There's so many holiday related horror films. I don't know if you're familiar with.
Yeah, I can
There
see
was
that.
April Fool's Day. I don't know if you knew that one existed.
No.
There was My Bloody Valentine,
That one I know for
which
sure.
is a Valentine's
Yeah.
Day one, obviously. There was Leprechaun, which had to
Yeah.
do with St. Patrick's Day. They haven't made a Columbus Day one yet that I'm
Silent
thinking of.
Night, Deadly Night.
Yes, that is a classic one. And
Garbage Day.
Yes, the sequel is amazing. There's actually like 5 or 6 sequels.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but
surprised.
first one's great. I don't know if you've seen the first one. But
No, I heard that was supposed to be more straight. That was like a more straight horror movie.
straight
right?
horror. Yeah,
Yeah, no, the second
it's
one
hilarious
just completely
though,
just off the rocker.
because essentially the first movie. Not to get off side. Well, we're like I
Yeah,
said,
okay.
we're not
You,
talking
if you
about
just
much.
want to go, we'll go back and forth.
We'll go
Just,
back.
we'll wander off and then come back when we feel like.
I'm gonna have to show you Silent Night, Deadly Night because it's essentially about this guy who, when he was a kid, his parents. There was a guy on the side of the road in a Santa Claus, or he got pulled over. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
Essentially, they pulled over to the side of the road because I guess they didn't know where they're going or whatever. And a guy in a Santa Claus suit like hijacks the car, and the dad's like, no, whatever, because the kids are in the back seat. Shoots the dad, kills the parents, and the kids are left forever. So now, of course, he's traumatized by anybody dressed in a Santa Claus suit. So he dresses up in a Santa Claus suit.
To kill people?
Yeah, and it gets triggered while he's working one day. He's working at like a toy shop or something, and then gets triggered because for some reason they're trying to make him be Santa Claus or something.
Yeah.
It is a batshit wild. We're gonna have to watch
Yeah,
it. I think
that
we should
sounds
definitely
absolutely
watch
ridiculous.
it this Christmas. We'll do
Yes,
it.
that'd be, we'll get together, nice family event. We'll put on Silent Night, Deadly Night.
You know what I always want to do? I want to do a commentary. We'll eventually probably release one day
we
where
should.
we can sit around and sit through a film and have people literally listen to us banter about it. The whole film.
I'd be totally down for that.
But let's get to this film.
Oh,
Halloween.
disclaimer real quick. If anyone hears me drinking, it's because I'm trying to drink to get through this. So
Yes,
if you hear
there's
the
a
sounds
lot-
of slurping.
A lot of bang energy here.
Yeah, a lot of
This-
banging and clanging.
All right. 2002, Halloween Resurrection came out. Let me just kind of give the background, which I told you.
Yeah.
1998, they make a flick called H2O. Super. Well, some people
Yeah.
call it H20, but you call something H2O, of course people are going to call it H2O. You're not going to call it H20.
Well, that's obviously just to try to get people not to say H2O because you don't want your movie being called H2O. But it's like you
H2O.
did it to yourself.
But you literally did it. Yeah, and like even on the cover it says H20, but still people are going to call it H2O. It was made 20 years after the original. It completely disregarded the sequels and said, Laurie Strode from the first movie. If you haven't watched the first Halloween, go watch it. Stop listening to us. Go watch it and then come back, because the first movie obviously is a classic, one of the most well-known horror films of the 20th century. Whereas, and then they decided 20 years later, I guess, to make this follow-up film because, like I said, the film before it is the worst Halloween film, in my opinion. Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, Part 6. But so H2O comes around, and H2O essentially says that Laurie Strode took time away, and she's kind of like in hiding after this. It's very similar in the Scream movies. I don't know if you've ever seen the Scream movies.
Very little.
But after the events of the first Scream movie, same with H2O, she goes into hiding and whatever. And then, of course, Michael Myers finds her, the killer finds her, whatever. So the end of the H2O, which I told you, Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, cuts off Michael's head with an axe for some reason. And then in this movie, we start out in the beginning of this film completely getting rid of what happened in H2O. So, background on this movie, Jamie Lee Curtis did not want to do this movie. And you were looking at the trivia, correct? She wanted nothing to do with this film.
And my favorite part of it, reading it, was that the typical Hollywood thing was that the people who I don't remember their names.
The producers,
the
which is
producer,
the Akkads. They're
yeah.
called the Akkads, yeah.
Okay, that's because they sound very Middle Eastern.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They are, yeah.
So my favorite part of it was reading it that she did not want to do it because she felt like it was all her character arc was wrapped up nicely in the last one. But what they wanted to do was spin it and pretend like, no, the reason why she is going to do it is because she saw the script and she just definitely wanted to be a part of it. Was blown away. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, wow, that's so slick, guys.
But that's what producers do. They just make up bullshit to like sell their film.
That's my favorite part, for sure.
So, but when you have a cast like freaking, for some reason he's not first billed for some reason, but Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks are in this film for some reason.
My man.
And some other, like we said, there was the one girl that you knew of.
Obscure actors.
So that girl, Bianca Kodulich or something, she was on an episode of Psych, you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess she was also in Bring It On, that cheerleading movie.
Yeah, I remember that. I never fully watched it, but I know what you're talking about. Oh, dear God.
10 Things I Hate About You.
That's another dear God moment.
I guess she's in that, and she didn't really have a... She's in a lot of, like, TV. Yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of these actresses, and actors in general as well, if they don't make it big in, like, horror movies back in the day that fail, you'll always see them moving to TV. Yeah. Some kind of small roles in TV.
Yeah, but if you notice, because, again, we're going to start veering off, but I have to say this now you're saying it.
Go ahead.
Is that, look, though, I really think it's flipped. That used to be the case. It used to be film. You don't make it in film, you're trickled down to TV. It's the opposite today, where people are literally doing whatever the hell they want. You literally have people that are going from movies, big stars and big going into TV and staying in TV or doing both.
Because back in the
day, that's what I'm saying. It's flipped.
It's weird. It it even flipped even in the past, because Leonardo DiCaprio, like, one of his first roles was, I forgot it was some sitcom, Growing Pains or something like that. He was just a reoccurring character of like one of the. I
didn't even know he was in any TV show.
Really? Yeah, no. That was one of his first roles when he was young, and I'm going to look it up right now. But that's how it was back in the day. You would essentially get like, Roseanne. He was on Roseanne.
Okay.
And Growing Pains.
That's a weird show to be on, Roseanne, for Leonardo. But either way, that would used to be on TV. You'd have like The Charm, or like take Will Smith. He was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Tom Hanks was also on Bosom Buddies. Have you ever heard of that?
No, he was on a TV show.
You've never heard of Bosom Buddies?
No,
It's about two guys that like live in an all-girls sorority thing and pretend to be girls.
Oh my God, no!
From 1980.
Nope.
Right here it says two young single admin must disguise themselves as women to live in one apartment that they can afford.
I've never heard of this. This is crazy.
And they just, I don't know.
But the point being is that that was the formula. It was start off in TV. And if you end up being good enough where you have this star quality charisma, then you start moving to movies.
Then you go to movies, yeah.
And then say that what we're talking about now, you try movies, you suck, then you usually go back to TV because it's easy to get TV. Now I feel like it's an open field where literally TV I don't think it's surpassed movies yet, but it's pretty much either on the same par, or people have been actually literally going to TV more. Like I've seen, actors. I've been talking about like True Detective, all these different TV shows.
TV's
that
getting better though. That's the thing.
Is like quality, because they realize how they can reach everybody through streaming a lot more now. Yep. So it's about TVs and stuff. So
TVs, especially HBO in like the late '90s, you had like Oz, The Sopranos, all those shows that are like or Oscar nominated like shows.
Yeah.
And I think that as we moved forward, TV got better, but movies progressively got worse. Because think about it, past 2000, I think movies just began to shit the bed.
See, that's where you and I disagree.
I know. Some people...
I think aspects of filmmaking have gotten worse.
Filmmaking has just gotten lazier.
There's a ton of movies since 2000 that I love, so that's why I can't agree with you.
And there are some great movies post-2000. Like, but what I'm saying, especially with Halloween Resurrection, was like, Halloween to me was not meant to go into the 2000s. It was definitely a 70s and the 80s thing.
That's where let's be frank. I mean, I'm not even a horror person, and I know. Well, actually, we can connect on this with we were talking about Godzilla earlier. You and I in the car.
Yeah.
I can connect with this because it's exactly what it did. The same what you're talking about with completely ignoring other movies and just being like, well, this happened in that last movie, but we don't really care because we're
not going to acknowledge it. Yeah.
Literally, that is the formula to keep things going. And at least when we're talking about horror movies, I mean, just the big trifecta we were talking about have done it. I mean, each movie, franchise, Freddy, Jason, Michael, they all got like what 10 movies apiece.
Yep.
And they all did that at
They
some point.
disregard each other.
Just like, yeah, they're dead. Not really. They're back.
Yeah.
Maybe they're dead. I don't know. It's like you got money, then they're not dead. Don't worry.
Well, that's how you know that like horror films in general are made for profit. Like they are. I mean, I don't know if Godzilla films are made for profit, but
yeah, no, they think okay. So to tell you, they think the Toho Studios who owns Godzilla, they think it's for profit. They don't realize that it's not actually a profitable franchise because in Japan the movie industry isn't that big.
Yeah.
So it's actually not a lot of money. And then in America, when it's done well in a movie, it's actually successful. But they just keep shitting the bed with making movies over here with Godzilla. But it is for profit. So to answer your question, that most of the shit they think they're doing is gonna make more money doesn't. So it's kind of like with horror movies or movies in general, where these guys sit around the bane of every. I think film buff, film fan, what we just bitch about in our cars and in our houses when we're talking about movies are these studio guys that sit around a boardroom somewhere and say, "Oh, we're gonna do this." It's gonna make so much
big cigars,
big stogies, and they're like, "Oh, I got this great idea," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, Johnson. Oh shit, you're gonna make so much money off of this."
Yeah.
Those idiots are gonna eat up all of it and not even thinking about how people are gonna hate this. And this is how we get movies like this.
Yeah, I was gonna say this film is exactly that because I just said at the end of this, it's such a cash grab, and I've seen this plenty of times. I didn't remember the ending, so I'm glad we rewatched it for that. For I guess that aspect.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was like, I thought you knew, like the way I thought you were messing with me at first. That like.
No, this was one of the ones that I told you I didn't like that much, so I haven't seen it as much. So it was directed by Rick Rosenthal, who directed the second Halloween movie, which is weird because I also thought, like you did tonight, that John Carpenter directed Halloween. I thought
he
wrote it. I know that he wrote it, him and Deborah Hill. But yeah,
it makes sense
weird.
now though because you know what he was doing in '81. He was directing
Escape from New York,
which is a much better movie.
He went on to make a bunch of, and Dean Cundey, who did not direct. Sorry, Dean Cundey did all like the filming for the first movie. He went on to like Jurassic Park, a bunch of like Spielberg stuff. He was pretty well known. So a lot of people, when they made, a lot of the time, you know this with filmmakers, they make their first big movie and then they go on and make other things and they leave that behind. But then like you said, these people sitting around in a giant boardroom or whatever are just deciding, let's take that idea and make more money with it. Because I don't think he wanted 40 million sequels.
No, because think about that was another thing. Because I guess we're talking about the whole setup of the horror film genre in the early 2000s. So I guess we can actually start with that because the movie's not going to take that long to describe. So it's like that stuff I did learn about the first one, which was the fact that it was only made on $200,000.
300,000.
300? I thought it was 200.
Yeah, I remembered it. I think so.
Either way,
I have weird trivia in my head like that, but.
Well, so do I, about you know what? How about so we know for sure because it.
I mean, 200,000, 300,000. It's a safe ballpark, you know.
Yeah, but it's it's good because listen, we want to be cool to the chicks, man. Okay.
I guess so, but
God,
like, I mean, I don't think they really care.
You are
the budget
so
was $325,000.
Okay, there you go. Okay, but off of that, it made like $200 million, I think.
Yeah, it made a lot of money.
Which is insane bank for a movie, especially in '78.
Especially like an indie. It's almost like an indie film.
Yeah, no, it really is an indie film. So for $325,000, made $200 million is crazy. So that's amazing. So obviously, Carpenter's probably like, oh, this is great. Now I can do my other projects.
And it's good. It gave him room to make some great films. Stuff. The Fog, The Thing.
The people who are financing are probably like, oh shit, now we got a franchise, my man. This is gonna be the next Friday because I think weren't the Friday the 13th movies already going strong at that point?
So Friday the 13th came out in '80.
Okay, so that was after this.
It was 2 years after. And what was good about Friday the 13th, they didn't plan to make it into a franchise. He has admitted, Sean Cunningham, who made the original Friday the 13th, he admitted that he made Friday the 13th because he saw Halloween and just wanted to rip it off. But what was cool about Friday the 13th is they actually ended up making one every fucking year. So they made one, 80 was the first one, 81 is the second one. They just kept going, and eventually they made Jason to be the reoccurring character. Whereas by 81, you had Halloween 2 coming out and Friday the 13th 2 coming out.
Both come at the same time.
So about at that time, there wasn't any common, like they didn't know if Michael Myers was going to come back because like I told you, for people that aren't listening that don't know, John Carpenter wanted to make the whole series an anthology series, similar to like the Twilight Zone. Every episode would be a different story
in the same universe,
and every movie would be it completely but still be in the same So
connected by something.
So I think about 81, which Rick Rosenthal directed, which also directed the movie that we're going to be eventually talking about tonight.
I think it's okay. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Yeah, that's fine.
They'll be fine with it. They're here for us. Okay.
Exactly.
They want to hear this.
So he made that. So you think about it. You're making your second sequel by the time around the same time that Halloween 2 is coming out. So you have Friday 13th 2 and Halloween. But what's funny is Friday 13th, like I said, ripped off Halloween. So you didn't know what you were going to make for the second film. Yeah. Like, think about that. You're ripping off a film, but the sequel to that first film hasn't come out yet. So now you're still planning to make a second. So it was kind of experimental. People always blamed Friday 13th, just said it ripped off Michael Myers, which it did. But I think it went a little bit different. Whereas the first movie, Halloween, is a little bit more mystery and suspenseful, whereas Friday 13th has always just been slasher and guts, and that's the emphasis of the film.
But so then you could probably say, but I think which would segue us into this movie is that so you had the booming of the 80s, and then I don't know what you want to call it, like the 90s. The 90s were kind of like up and down because I guess some of the franchises were kind of going out the window in the 90s with like Freddy and Jason, but then things like, or ones like Scream were kind of coming into play instead, right?
Yes.
So like late 90s.
In the 90s, yes.
And so like that came into play instead, but I feel like right around the early 2000s is when all of these like almost collectively started losing steam. Like all of the franchises
they did.
like literally
Horror
started.
movies were not big. I mean, I guess the biggest film around then was Final Destination. If you ever heard of that.
Those I feel like now as we're talking about this, that did pop into my head because I know enough to follow along with this where early 2000s that's when fucking Jason X came out literally around this.
Yes, it was 2001, I believe.
Yeah. So that came out. That was I mean, that is an amazing movie to watch and make fun of because that is just
it's like a fan film essentially.
What coke that they were on, but I want some of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was ridiculous, but that killed that franchise for a little bit.
Yep.
And then then this came out, and obviously, now watching it, I see why this was it for a while as well.
We want to know what else came out though at the same time? The Ring. Do you remember The Ring? The girl coming out of the TV.
Yeah, I know that, but is that when that came out? I thought it came out later.
It came out in 2002, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty big around that time, and kind of like supernatural stuff.
I guess that's what I'm saying is not the fact that horror genre itself started going down low, but more like these horror franchises started falling apart.
You mean like
I meant
the
like
Freddy's,
the
Jasons,
the bread and butter of horror franchises. Like they started kind of running out of steam because even then, because you had Jason X, this one, and then Freddy vs. Jason.
In 2003. But Freddy was gone before that. Like Freddy's last film was like 97, I believe, or 98.
I think it was New Nightmare, which I was actually watching the other day with my buddy.
Yeah.
I think that was like 95, 96.
New Nightmare. Yeah. That was 94.
94, and I think that was the last one.
I believe that was the last one.
Yeah, until 2003.
Yep.
Okay, so he was long dead.
So he was done because Wes Craven, who made Nightmare on Elm Street, was working on Scream, which came out in 96.
Right. So that's what we're talking about. Like literally, like one would stop, another one would slide in.
Yep.
Another one would stop, another one would slide in. But I definitely feel like right around this area, these three, like the trifecta big ones,
they were just getting bad.
Really starting to lose steam.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's where a perfect way to get into this one was. This was the Michael Myers version of that.
So I think they thought hiring the director of the second movie would bring in some profit, but the second movie wasn't even that successful at the time.
That's what I heard. I mean, I read because I never seen it.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it in a while. I'm not going to talk bad about it, but I think that was a bad move in general, was to bring in. So it's that mindset of, oh well, he made a Halloween movie before. He'll
so
probably
let's just bring him back because we're gonna just nostalgia the hell out of this.
That
be fine.
Just didn't work, and you can tell in this movie that it just it's lazy. It's like we said, it's very poorly written. It's all a cash grab. When you see the beginning of the film and it says co-produced by Harvey Weinstein and Bob, you know it's gonna be shit.
Oh my God.
They have the only thing that they've put out that is good in the late 90s was Scream. They were
on that.
I think it was Dimension Films.
Well, you know why? Because they were used to women screaming.
Let's not get into those rapey jokes. Though there is a lot of sexual assault in this film.
Yes,
we will talk about.
So, which would make sense because fucking Harvey Weinstein is involved.
He's like, put more ass grabbing in there.
And they're like, I guess so, sir. And he's like, yeah, that's all. America finds that really funny.
There was an article
Okay.
that said that he's going to die in prison. How much time he's going to serve?
Most likely.
Which is insane.
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
Kidding me? Okay.
Let's get into this because
no more. You're just trying to stall.
We're balls deep, and let's get in there all the way. So this movie starts out, like we said, completely erasing everything that you thought about the H2O, because H2O ends strong, and that film, you'll have to check it out one time when you're bored or whatever. It's actually a pretty well made film, and I think it's on the AMC free trial, so you'll be able to check it out. It's actually filmed well. It's fun. It has that late 90s charm that Scream had. It definitely is taking some of that fame from Scream and bringing it in. It's a little bit more like, I wouldn't say suspenseful. I would say like new era suspenseful, which Scream. Have you seen Scream?
A little bit, just a little bit. It was like the whole opening scene with Drew Barrymore.
Yes, yeah.
Obviously that, that's like I know it's like the most famous scene. Mm-hmm. But that, and then a few like the scenes of like the killer getting exposed in the one. But like they kind of like all mesh together because I've also seen Scary Movie, so I kind of makes fun of it. So I kind of like it blurs between the two. So,
but the thing that like Scream did, I guess that like movies in the '90s did more, was the score to the movie was more kind of like intense and very like dramatic. It was almost
being like comical. You mean?
Well, instead of being like in the original Halloween, it's very mellow and it's super just like dreamy. Like where in these new ones are like it's like right in your face, almost like jump scares kind of. That's what was introduced in the late '90s, and you get that in this movie as well.
But that was kind of the vibe of the '90s, though, music-wise. And you kind of think about it, it was like all over the place with alternative music and whatnot.
Yeah, a lot of just experimentation and stuff. So the beginning of this film, like we said, it's following everything that happens from the last time. And it was weird because in H2O, she's like the dean of this like school for some reason, or
Jamie
like
Lee Curtis
she's like a school. I think it's a high school, like a private high school or something. So she essentially kills Michael Myers at the end of that film. And then you find out that no, she didn't kill Michael Myers. Correct? She killed an ambulance driver, a paramedic, I guess, and apparently crushed his throat, his larynx specifically, because they say that in this film, and I'm like, why didn't they just say throat? I think most common audiences
because they wanted people to think, oh, they doctors or they're medical professionals, so they
really went into it, like that's what I like to think. It's like we said, lazy screenwriting. Like you look online, you type in throat and it says larynx. Oh, that's because like isn't there like the pharynx too? There's a bunch of other.
You know what that
parts.
is? That's literally like when foreign directors, like we talk about on the show,
a lot,
when they try to pretend they know what Americans sound like because of what their perception of Americans sound like. So this most likely was somebody screenwriting thinking, okay, these people are medical professionals, so they got to just probably say this stuff to themselves, describing the human body. Instead of just being, he crushed his throat. They're like,
because that's how it's introduced. Is two nurses are talking about this, and of course they're going to use medical terms.
Of course, to each other. Not like that. They're human beings, and they just say it to each other. Just, oh yeah, I crushed his throat. Whatever.
So that's essentially what happens. Is what you're saying is gets his throat crushed, and I guess at the end of the film, when Jamie Lee Curtis thinks that is actually Michael Myers, kills him, and oh my God, it's not Michael Myers. And then we see Michael Myers walk away from the site wearing the paramedic suit, looking stupid as hell.
So yeah, this is where even me, who hasn't followed the franchise like AC has, I'm like, wait, stop the phone, hold on. So we're talking about that he killed this dude. He choked the life out of this dude so he couldn't talk, and he didn't convey this to Jamie Lee Curtis at all. Like, didn't go like, wait, take the mask off, anything.
Well, he couldn't talk because of the thing, and apparently he was waving his hand. The main thing is the mask.
Okay,
take the damn mask off.
The main thing is the mask. Literally, all he had to do was just pop it off, and she'd be like, oh shit, okay, my bad. Anything. It could have been like anything. He could have went like this, or point, at his throat, whatever, going like this, take it off, and I can't. Or whatever, nothing. Literally, he just lets himself get murdered. By Jamie Lee Curtis.
Because she's about to take the mask off at the end of H2O before she kills him, and then just swipes his head off with an axe.
Right. So, whatever.
Who knows?
They're just like, I guess this guy wanted to get killed for no reason.
So essentially, that's what happens at the end of the last film. This film begins with some stupid bullshit Jamie Lee Curtis narration while we're going down the long hallway of this insane asylum that she's put into.
Embarrassing.
And you see her just really like bland looking out the window. And like you said,
super stereotypical, like a really bad wig as she's sitting there.
Yep.
Like this is like the the same movie or TV trope of someone who's quote gone crazy or just sitting in the corner of a mental ward, just staring, doing
into
nothing.
space.
Into space. That's it.
Yeah.
As everybody else explains the plot. Because that's how it goes. Usually you don't ever just leave the character by themselves and think, oh, they're crazy. Someone usually always comes in and goes, yeah, this person's been real traumatized because of this such and such thing that happened at this such and such time, and this and that, and you're like, oh, okay, so you're just explaining everything.
Well, they do one of the worst things that I hate in horror movies, where they think the audience didn't see the last film, so what they have to do is explain the end of the last film. This one, They change it around. Obviously, they're introducing a new plot narrative that doesn't even make sense, and it's completely bullshit. And they essentially, this was 4 years after the last one.
Yeah,
so
98, right?
Yeah, so essentially they were just saying, hey, I'm gonna just completely rewrite it because we're gonna. I don't know if they plan to make this film after H2O or whatever, but I hate in horror films, any kind of films, action movies do this sometimes too, where they feel the need to like really show you what happened in the last movie because they assume that you didn't see it.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years since this film came out. If it came out maybe the next year, like Friday the 13th used to do that because it would come out, and I think in the early 80s, VHS wasn't even that big. So it's not even like you can go out and rent it in 81. But then they would re-show you, they'd give you like 5 or 10 minutes of clips from the first film. So this is 2002, DVD is out, VHS has fucking been out forever. Like, why do you feel the need to show us it, And it's like...
it's to literally just beat you over the head with just completely unnecessary exposition for no reason.
Yep, for
no good reason.
And it shows you, like you were saying, it is introduced by these two nurse characters or whatever. They're going to take care of Lori or whatever. They feed her a pill. She leaves, or the two nurses leave. She spits the pill into her like Raggedy Ann doll or something.
It has a bunch of pills in it, meaning she's never taken any of the pills.
Which means that she's actually, for some reason, she's like, I guess, like, quote, normal, and she's just waiting in an asylum for Michael Myers one night to come.
Yes, I guess so.
Why don't you just say, get me out of here and give me, like, some armed guards or something to protect me? Like, being in an insane asylum... Do you think being in an insane asylum is better than...
Well, that's why, like, no, we won't get off to that, but why they did that better in the reboot, the Danny McBride reboot, where it was just her. She's literally like living in a house that's secluded that she has been preparing for Michael Myers for years.
Booby-trapped and
Booby
stuff.
trapped.
Right?
She's gotten proficient with firearms, like everything. That makes more sense.
It does.
Like that worked out really. That angle worked out really good in that movie.
It wouldn't work in this one though, because I did remember that it was obviously not really Michael Myers that she killed and whatever. And then
in this, I'm just saying put her that's why way better, But
even like it was an accident. She didn't mean to do it. Why are you putting her in an insane asylum when like this dude is wearing the mask of her brother that is trying to kill her?
That just shows how shitty the writing is. Because I was actually, it's funny you just said it because I just thought of that myself. Like literally, if it was all an accident, which the nurses said, then how does that make her crazy? It doesn't. That would have been like, you just been tricked into murdering someone who didn't even know who it was.
Yeah, and Michael was the one who switched the bodies and obviously planned this whole
caused
thing.
Everything.
So she's not crazy then.
And how should I be crazy to begin with if they knew?
She would be crazy if he was like, hey, like, or pulled his mask off, showed it wasn't him, and then she still thought it was him and killed that,
Yeah, but that just shows you how lazy it is because the whole movie wouldn't exist. If it wasn't for this to go exactly how they had it, which is really, really stupid in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's completely bullshit. You want to know how even though it's a terrible way to do it, but an easy way to do it would just be start at the beginning, start right after that happened. The cops show up after she chops the head off. They figure out that it's not actually Michael Myers, and then go from there. But no, they just start at the insane asylum for some reason. So Michael eventually shows up, our man, of course. He's just hanging out outside, and one of the guards goes outside because he notices that the gate was broken, of course, and there's just a random dude that shows up. Like you said, what did you call him? This patient or whatever? You said he was an exposition patient or something like that?
Oh, yeah. I said I didn't know they just had... it was an exposition machine.
Yeah, something like that.
Admitted at the psych ward because he literally just starts naming everything.
His entire purpose, like you said,
is literally just naming off serial killers, their information, and eventually he gets to Michael and he starts talking about all the stuff he's saying. So it's all the stuff he did. You know, what day he was born, he killed his sister, all the stuff that happened in the previous movies. I'm like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah, I think they show a couple other extras in the beginning, but like, if you're showing us an insane asylum, show us more extras. Don't show us one dude who's giving us exposition, as well as 2 nurses that are only here to give us as well exposition. It's just lazy because like you're just trying to get in and get out as quick as possible. But like, if we like really spent time in that, because there's an asylum shot in Halloween 4. And it's kind of cool. Like there's some like cool little extras and stuff like that, and it's people screaming and all this stuff. And this one, it's like it's obviously just a studio. They built a long hallway, and you know, this whole film is essentially filmed in studios. And we'll point one out later.
Yeah.
When we get to it.
I didn't, but AC caught it.
Yeah. But I was like, what the hell was that? We'll talk about it. But so Michael Myers eventually breaks in, goes to basically kill her because he thinks she's underneath the sheets. Does the classic putting stuff under the sheets. The classic.
He does the classic.
Of course. See our episode on Theodore Rex if you're interested.
Don't forget he kills the 2 guards in like the most just ridiculous of ways. Remember?
Oh.
Yeah, which was remember the one dude. The one dude walks, gets murdered, and the other
the one dude from outside comes back in.
And
then he was talking to his buddy, and he was like, hey, do you see that dude that you just put away, the serial killer guy? For some reason, he's walking around the basement, and he also lost about 40 pounds or 50 pounds. And
literally
a little bit taller, too.
Different dude. And they're like, oh, he's out there still. Like, oh, well, gotta go find him. So they go look. The one dude gets distracted by the vending machine.
Of course, because he's a fat cop.
So he's a fat cop, so he's got to have his fat donut.
He gets a donut out of the machine.
Oh, my God, it's so stupid. And then as he's getting fat, the other guy's getting murdered. Then he looks for him. And this next series of shots... Okay, let's not forget. This entire movie has unnecessary slow-mo. I think the very first shot
the
of
first
that
one is the dryer,
is
right?
is the laundry room there where this washer is literally just going in slow motion for a second. I'm thinking there's going to be a reveal where like his face pops out.
That'd be cool. Like a head pops out while it's moving.
You're gonna be like, oh my God, you know what happened to my Jerry, whatever hell his name was. You know, Instead, he has to look through everything. He finds like his face kind of, and then he turns around and finds the guy's body, which I had him play back because it showed there's no way in hell this was a total idiot that he didn't already notice the body to begin with.
Yeah.
Because as we replayed it, he turned and the body would have been right there.
In front of the...
Right there.
Right,
he would have literally stepped over the guy's body to open the dryer or washer to look at the guy's head.
I think it was a dryer.
The dryer.
Whatever,
look at the guy's head. And it was right there.
Literally right there. And... like you said, and the room was pretty well lit, so it's not like you can't see it.
Well lit, and then the next thing, probably one of my favorite shots of this movie, which was also shown, I guess, happened in the last one.
Yes,
where Michael's getting fucking ripped because he's doing one arm pull-ups,
and he drops down from like a one arm pull-up. Yeah,
it's just this weird, stupid shot of him holding himself up with one pull-up.
And his feet drop down. It's something from another movie.
Died if they did that shot, redid it, but instead had his shirt off and he was like ripped and he was just coming down.
He's like in a wife beater. That would be awesome.
A wife beater and he's all jacked. I would absolutely die. Anyway, but that was so stupid. The stupid one arm. He comes down and he kills the guy who was okay. This is the early 2000s. This entire movie feels like a cross between a horrible early 2000s reality show, music video, and what was the other thing I told you when we were watching it? SNL, SNL sketch,
it's like an SNL sketch,
Mad TV. It doesn't even feel real. Okay, and also all the graphics are incredibly 2000, early 2000.
Yeah, everything.
Like everything. The title, all of
font,
it.
Yeah,
so I can't get over it. I'm bringing this up now because every murder, everything, I can't take it seriously because it has this vibe to it that it doesn't feel like it's even like a real thing.
Yeah.
Like not even like a real attempt. I feel like it's a joke. Like I'm waiting for someone to make a joke. I'm waiting to hear canned laughter in the background.
And like studio audience.
Yeah, something. And I gotta bring that up now because literally that follows me the entire movie.
100%.
So he kills these 2 guards and then
so then the one cop, the donut eating cop, backs up after seeing his buddy get decapitated on the ground. Which I want to point out real quick. Michael Myers doesn't decapitate people. I personally don't think he ever has before this. Okay. And to me, it just feels like a forced way of like making Michael enter the 2000s, because 2000s, the horror movies in general were a lot more gorier. They were a lot more grittier. And I feel like that's the way of making it look like that. And then we get this super weak throat slit because he backs up, the fat cop backs up right into Michael, of course, and gets his throat slit, and it's just pretty weak. Like, just a quick slit.
Like, he just drops him down.
Like, you just cut the fucker's head off, and we didn't get to see that, but then you just get to slowly get that. Like, it's just not well made. So then Michael goes upstairs, walks through the hallway, walks past the door of the serial killer, and then he goes to our girl, Jamie Lee Curtis, finds out she's not there, and then she basically runs away, and it's like almost a cat and mouse game for some reason.
Scooby-Doo cat and mouse
Literally.
game.
And then runs up on the roof, and then Michael Myers thinks she jumped off the roof, and there's a conveniently placed rope.
Booby trap.
Right there in a circle. Like, how did he not see that? Yes. I saw that the first time, and I'm like, okay. And then stands there, and he gets pulled up, and he's hanging upside down by his feet right above, and she's basically doing what she does in every freaking spin-off. She did it in H2O. She's doing it in this as well. And she's talking to Michael and just kind of like trying to reason with him after he's killed so many people.
And she's been waiting to murder him too, right?
Yep.
She's been waiting to finally end it all.
She wants to kill him.
And then once she gets the opportunity, all of a sudden she just starts thinking about ways that she can just calm everything down.
Mm-hmm. And just, my God, they do that. They did that in Friday the 13th as well, where they try to talk to Jason like this. There's, for example, in the second movie, the main character, the main girl or whatever, she puts on Jason's mom's sweater and starts talking to him like his mother. Yeah. And it's just, I hate when they try to reason things with serial killers. Serial killers have almost no reason for what they're doing a lot of the time. They're just ruthlessly killing people. How are you going to talk sense into somebody? You know, that's just completely insane. But anyways, she goes up to Michael and just grabs off, because she's, of course, they show us flashbacks. Like I said, they have to show us flashbacks because we couldn't get that as an audience. They make the audience of this movie so dumb, and I think that's what made this movie so bad, was it's just so, like, everything is just shown to you, and, like, you don't have any chance to think about anything. And they show the flashback of Jamie Lee Curtis taking the axe and just literally destroying that dude's face. A lot of decapitation in this movie.
So much decapitation.
For some reason. And then, so goes to take off the mask. Of course, Michael's going to grab her. And the rope breaks that he was hanging on, and they're doing this dramatic, like, falling off the edge of the roof.
So stupid. Well, remember, the reason she even looked at his mask was because she had a double check. I mean, he literally just came through, I guess, another security guard, put on the Michael Myers outfit, and then came to haunt her.
And was chasing her with a knife.
With a knife in an asylum, all because it wasn't actually Michael anyways. But, who doesn't?
Yeah,
really
it's like she didn't think it through that, like, this was actually Michael Myers, like, in the sense of, he's chasing with a knife. And I don't think the guards are just going to fuck with Jamie Lee Curtis every Halloween and be like...
Yeah, start putting on the mask and everything.
Just mess with her. Be like,
But she literally falls like she's doing the crane kick from Karate Kid. It's one of the weirdest, like, just awkward things. But, I mean, God bless Jamie Lee Curtis, because as soon as she hits the ground, she is out of this movie.
Yeah, she gets stabbed. Gone. She gives him a nice little kiss for some reason.
That was so weird. What
no
the hell?
clue.
I mean, that was like just watching some, like, ghetto trash toxic couple.
Yep, and says what... Like I said, this screenplay definitely was written by somebody in, like, film school or something, because the last, like, thing she says to him is, "I'll see you in hell."
I was like, why would you be going to hell?
Yeah, and also, that is the most generic thing ever. Like, why didn't she just say "fuck you" or something like that?
Anything. See you in hell.
Something.
Well, see you in hell means I'm gonna be there because I'm evil too. But I mean, you've seen him more than I have. But she's not evil person, right?
No, not in the series at all. She's actually,
so
like,
any sense.
A good person. So I don't.
Okay, well, who cares? Because they obviously didn't.
So she falls off the roof too after she gets stabbed, and like I said, it's a weird shot. She's, like, slowly falling. I'll have to send you, like, a clip of it, because I don't know if you noticed it, but she's just, like, slowly, just like
she literally looked like I said she's doing like the crane kick from Karate Kid. I think it's probably what they did to get the shot is they had her in a harness,
And then just slowly
and they were
drop
slowly
her
trying
down.
to dropping her, and they're trying to like make it look like she was falling from that angle, and it just looks goofy as hell.
It does, because she goes through the trees, and it just kind of looks really weird. And then when she hits the ground, she like just kind of
and then just sits there and lies
sits there and looks up. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. It's bad.
Lame.
So we ut to I guess it's a lecture hall at a college, and
with the director who
is
the
teacher, correct? There's all these college students, and they're all the classic like Scream. They're literally just written. I know you're. I'm gonna say that a lot. You know, you got all the stereotypes of like every kind of college student. You've got the geek, you've got the badass, you've got the two straight people, like straight as in like very. What are you looking
talking
at?
about?
No,
straight edge.
I've been using that word lately, and people don't understand what I'm saying. No, straight as in like very like I guess I'd say like professional. Like very like
you're
yeah,
like
kind of like
foil. You're talking about the straight man.
No. I'm talking like
straightforward.
Like straight man, like meaning like not like in sexual identity things. I'm talking about like a dude who always plays by the rules.
No, that's what I'm saying. A straight man. A straight arrow. You're talking about a straight arrow.
That's what I mean. Is that somebody who just like? But you get that with the two main characters. The girl.
No, I get that. It's just the way you said that made me laugh. You're like, there's two straight people in here too. I'm like, how could you tell that?
Yeah, I know. It sounds different because it's down to context, but like yeah, you get Sean Patrick Thomas who plays Rudy, who's the guy, the culinary guy.
Remember him? Yes, of course.
And also
my favorite actor of all time.
Yeah, and the psych psych chick, which is the main character as well. So you get them two, which they're like the straight, and then you've got like the Brittany Murphy wannabe.
Yeah.
Her and the redhead are like the horny archetypes, of course. They're just all about having sex and this and that. And then you've got the Hyde guy who looks like I said,
the weirdo.
Looks like the guy Hyde from that 70s show.
Yeah, that 70s rapist.
Yeah, minus the rape allegations.
Well, hold on. I mean, there's still plenty of that in this movie. So
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
So, but yeah, each
you get every single, and that to me is the laziest screenwriting ever. Because even in Scream, there was some classic archetypes, but like they were fleshed out more and they were characters. In this, you don't know anybody, and by the time each of them get killed, you're like, so like I didn't really know them. And also their motives, like we say later in the film, are incredibly forced. They don't have any admiring traits at all. Like you don't root for any of these characters.
Nope.
You're just like waiting for them to die.
I still don't even like. I finished the movie. I'm like, what was the point of any of that?
Yeah,
like the other movie, like the ones I've seen, except for it's been a long time since The Witch, but the other two that were Michael Myers related was literally her trying to survive, or anybody who was the main character or the supporting ones trying to survive getting killed by Michael.
Getting killed by Michael, yeah.
In an actual compelling way. This was literally like they wandered into Michael's house. And he was just kind of like, "Joe, man, what you guys doing here?"
Yeah, as I said, it's like Home Alone, but in a Halloween setting. Like he's just defending his turf. That's all he's doing.
And then there's just so vague of motives of why, even though it's kind of explained, but not really with the, why they're doing that. It's like the whole. I'm just saying, like, at the time I'm done, I'm just like, yeah, that just all of that was really stupid.
Yeah, it could have been completely avoided as well.
Yes, all of it.
So these college students enter this contest, and of course it's the early 2000s, so we're going to exploit the internet and make the internet look like the coolest thing in the world, bro. Like, yeah, bro. Dude, internet is so cool.
Yo, send me an email, bro.
I don't even think send me an AOL Instant Messenger.
That's right. Ping.
Yeah, I missed that in the old days. But like they give this premise that streaming is big. This kind of like predicted streaming in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember when like the first reality show started hitting, but that's probably what obviously they're jumping off on.
It's trying to be like an internet streaming show. This could have also been on like local cable or something, but like
it's definitely the kind of reality show like what the hell is the ones they're called? I think it's like Big Brother or whatever the dumbass ones were called, where it was a house of 10, or whoever, attractive looking younger people who all had to hang out and, deal with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like the same thing. So I don't know when that started, that trend of those kind of shows, but it must have been around that same time.
It must have. And it's weird to think that like streaming nowadays is huge. People make careers off of it and stuff. Whereas like 2002, there wasn't really streaming that I know of. Like think about the capabilities back then. Like it took you like 10 minutes to get your computer started and to dial up and all that kind of. It took you forever. There's no way that it's the technology in this movie. Obviously, it's not up to par because there's no way in hell that you'd be able to send video signal like that to a computer like way back in the day when there was still dial-up and all this like really like early beginning internet kind of stuff back in the day. But we don't have to get too deep into that.
Okay, we're really passionate about this, okay?
Yeah, we're supporters of the internet. So
yes,
100%.
huge supporters. You know, my love to Mark Zuckerberg and everybody out there.
Exactly.
My reptilian overlords.
Reptilians. So yeah, it's called Dangertainment, and of course it's created by the glorious
Busta Rhymes
and Tyra Banks for some reason. She really has nothing to do in this movie.
No, I was expecting more. I mean, she was totally hot, so I guess
think
that
she
was
had
good
things
enough for me.
to. Yeah, well, I think she had things to do or something because she's really not in this movie at all. I think she's in this movie for like 5 minutes.
No, she literally was only in there a couple times, said some lines, did her thing,
And just
got killed off screen.
Yeah, eventually, which we'll talk about.
Yes.
But so they get basically invited to Dangertainment. They all win, I guess. It's weird because it's like a competition, but it also feels like it's all set up because it's like we don't see the characters actually entering the competition. It's just kind of all
generic.
Hinted to.
I would say generic in my opinion because
It
it's
is
more of just like all of a sudden there's like, oh, we entered that contest and we won. So
and we're all friends too.
We're all friends. We all know each other. We're all doing it together, and I guess so. You know.
I guess so.
And
like
we're friends because of reasons.
They have to spend the night in the house. It's abandoned as well in order to figure out what led him to kill. I guess is the premise.
Yeah, see, that's what that lost me.
It's
I thought
area,
the idea was that they just had to stay in the house overnight, and then whoever lasted the longest, that'd be it.
That's
and
what.
then
you
I
would
guess
think.
as we went along, it was they're supposed to find clues to why Michael committed the murders that he did. I'm like, what?
I guess so, and pretty much. The main character, the only really character you get in this film is the main character. Totally blanking on her name. It's the girl from Psych. Let's see right here. Sarah Moyer. Like I've heard before from other people as well, after you see a movie, quiz me on these names. I wouldn't get a damn one right because I don't know anything. There's no...
Now, do you mean these movies as in these ones, like these kind of ones we're watching, or movies in general?
Well, I'm talking about like a lot of the time sequels to popular horror franchises. Friday the 13th did this.
So we're talking more lesser movies because I'm like, if you gave me a good movie, I most likely would remember
first
a good character's name.
First Halloween, Dr. Loomis, Laurie Strode,
Michael Myers,
Sheriff Brackett, Ann Brackett. Yeah, Michael Myers, of course. Where in this film, the only person I know is Busta Rhymes, and I don't even actually know his name in this movie.
Yeah. And then we know Michael Myers. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Those two. Well, that's why I asked
Laurie,
you because
of course,
it just shows you how much they do absolutely nothing to make you even care about any
of this. You don't care. Like, you're so disinterested, you just want the kills. And possibly that's maybe what they were going for because they were like...
But in my opinion, they failed for that because I know, like... Because, again, you're the horror guy. But I do know that a lot of these movies are built off of, it's like Godzilla. That's actually another great, I can segue in this. There's a lot of, sweaty nerd fans that are like, oh, they don't care about the human scenes. I just want to see monsters destroy stuff and smash people.
It's
and hurt
the
people.
formula, though, right?
It's like, it's the formula, but you can balance both. You can have compelling human drama and then stuff going kablam and booey and, punching stuff in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Something kind of horror, I know, like, and sometimes they're like, oh, I just want to see the kills. It's like, okay, those are fun, make fun depending on the movie if they're cheesy or if they're actually good.
Yeah.
But like, if the movie sucks balls like everything else, that wouldn't really be worth it to me because then it's just like, okay, those parts are kind of cool. Why am I waiting? Like,
just go on YouTube and watch the kills.
Because as a kid, what I would do is I would literally cut out the human scenes and just watch the giant monster scenes because I was a kid. But now that I'm older, it's like I appreciate all of it. So it's like, why can't you put the two together? So it's the same thing with like horror. It's like, why would I just... If I'm just going to do that, like I said, I'll just go on YouTube and hit a compilation of everyone getting killed or something. And this movie, I think why it hurts so much is that even the kills suck.
Well, it's like, why put me through an hour and a half of something that, like, is just one overrushed? It just feels forced. And, like
it literally, like, everything's underwhelming. Like, even the kills, in my opinion, not because I don't like horror, but because I just thought they were lame. Like, I was too busy laughing with most of them.
In the market, there was not a lot of horror films out at this time, so I don't know why they thought this was the right time to make a Michael Myers horror film. Because there is a market of people, I know plenty of people that are like this, where they're like, I don't genuinely care if the movie's a good movie. I just want to go out to the theater and go and see a movie with my friends.
I felt
and,
that. Yeah, I've been there.
Some people like to do that,
I've been there.
And yeah, we've all been there. But like this film, it was like, who are you trying to please with this movie? There was nothing going on at this time.
Well, I think you're answering your own question. It's the same thing with pretty much anything in our lives. Familiarity, that going back to the same well, whether it's pretty much anything in our lives, man, anything we're comfortable with, they think there is nothing going on. So they're like, what should we do? Oh, well, there's nothing going on. So let's try going back to the same well to try it again because there's nothing going on. So let's try to get some more money out of the same thing we've already done.
Well, you're
play
right.
it safe.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking, there's nothing out here, so let's do something new.
Which is what they did,
Yeah.
because if you think about it, I mean, I know this wasn't a remake or anything, but this was around the time when horror remakes were starting to become the new thing.
Yeah.
You got Amityville Horror coming out, House of Wax. There's a bunch of films that come out in the next couple of years after that.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No,
that was in
remake.
2003. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good remake. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I just know about it.
It's actually pretty well made. 2003. Yeah, that was like a big thing because think about it. 2000, usually remakes are about 20 years after the original or 30 years. That's like the good time.
How bad it was.
How bad, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that like you get to that point where you're like, okay, now it's time to start remaking them because one, I think Hollywood just didn't have enough like original ideas, and two, I don't think audiences were willing to gamble on. That's how it is nowadays. Like I said, to back up what I was saying earlier, why I think film has completely diminished over these past couple of years is a combination of they want Hollywood and movie companies in general, they want a safe bet. They don't want to risk too much money nowadays. So what are they going to do? They're going to remake something. They're going to take nostalgia from the past and redo it, like Stranger Things, for an example. Two, audiences, I think, because the invention of our phones, we don't care anymore about original stuff. We get so much freaking new stuff on our phone. We see so many things that when we go to the theater, we want a safe bet.
Yeah.
We want to say, I loved, I don't know, Beetlejuice, and then they're probably going to remake Beetlejuice in the next couple of years.
They're doing a sequel or remaking it. Something. I know I heard something. I can't tell you.
Yep. But that's like the mindset of what they, unfortunately, of what audiences are and what filmmakers are.
So you and I are in a total agreement. Where I was split off onto my own fork in the road is that I do believe, though, you can juggle both original ideas and reusing old ideas if you make old ideas fresh again.
You can.
Real quick. Because this could be a whole other conversation, but just real quick.
We'll get to that, yeah.
Creed with the Rocky franchise.
Yes.
Rocky sucked balls when honestly, it stopped being good critically around after 2.
But
because it just got
Thor
more
is
and more
great.
ridiculous.
I love Thor.
Well, 3 and 4 is fun in like a ridiculous sense, but drama-wise, it's really honestly stupid.
Actual movie.
Movie-wise, and it got worse.
Yeah.
He stripped everything back, redid Rocky Balboa. That was already a good step in the right direction.
People are saying that was good.
Then ended it, but then even came back with another installment with Creed, which completely played off of a good aspect of something that was familiar, but it was fresh. And continued that with Creed 2. And I've seen other examples of that.
That's definitely
where
a good
they've
thing
used things where like I never thought in my damn mind I would have been going to see Creed and thinking it was as good as it was, because it was based off of Rocky 4. Rocky 4. That's what started the movie. Is that Rocky 4? That is what it's based on. Is that what happened in Rocky 4? It's like of all movies, but
when Apollo dies.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. That's the point. Is why it's even a movie is because Apollo dies and he has a son, an illegitimate child. That's the basis of Creed. But the point is that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Rocky 4. So literally the basis of the movie is Rocky 4, which is a ridiculous 80s movie. So I was just bringing it up because it's like you have the ability to make something better.
Yeah.
People, they do. It's about making it fresh, though. The problem with this shit that we're talking about is they literally take stuff that is no longer fresh and actually don't freshen it up. They just leave it out to rot even further and then just market it as like, yo, this is brand new. Come and get it.
That's the thing, though, because they think that the audience is dumb enough to go through another Halloween film. That's like how it is.
Yep. Just like, we're just going to sit there and take it. You're just going to go, oh, please, another one. Just jam it right into me, daddy.
Yep, just push it on. But that's the thing. And especially, like we said, so Scream was like probably the biggest horror movie of the late 90s. Scream was unstoppable. Yeah. So now you have all these college kids in this film, and the way the film's written is essentially like Scream, but mix it with some new kind of technology thing. They love the early 2000s to make technology and internet be the next new thing. So back to what we were talking about. all these kids, all these friends get into this competition. It's weird, yeah, kids, because they're supposed to be college kids, but they definitely do look a little bit older. And they get into this thing, and the only person, Sarah, who's the main character, she's just like, I'm not sure if I want to go through with it. So she ends up, after of course they meet Busta Rhymes and Tyra Banks, whatever, they're about to prepare for the next day when they're going to go to Michael Myers' house and live there for the night or whatever. She goes and visits Busta Rhymes
at his hotel room,
and he's watching this kung fu flick, which we got to figure out if that's actually a real flick or not. Because
okay, my opinion, I think it is, because one, I didn't find anything trivia about it, but because they would have to spend money to make it, and considering I have seen some batshit crazy kung fu movies, okay. I'll tell one I saw, which was the craziest still to this day, was this dude. It was about this dude who got these demonic powers from a like necklace that turned into like little demon children that would always come out. Like it was literally like a giant necklace that would break into different pieces, turn into demon children, and they'd all dance around and suck the blood out of people and then come back into his necklace. And this was like 70s too, so this wasn't like something new, good looking. It was like weird ass 70s set in like old China like kind of movie. It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my entire life, martial art wise. So after seeing that, saw the little clip they played in the movie, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a real
well
thing.
He brought up that name. I don't remember what the name was.
Chun-Li,
something like that, and he's like, oh, I gotta get back to that after.
And that could be that could totally be a joke on Bruce Lee. And they did do that, but personally, I don't think they would have went to the effort of making that when there's so many BruceLee imposters in the 70s and 80s after he died. So much stuff. I think it's a real
took
thing.
it, and
I think it's a real.
They probably could, and especially the rights to those movies probably pretty easy.
Those are like
super.
You wanted, you got it. $5. There you go.
So Sarah tries to make herself, goes there and just tries to, I guess, say that she doesn't want to go anymore.
Yeah,
and then Freddy
not interested.
Proceeds to like
Freddy.
Yeah, that's literally his name in this flick. Is Freddy for some reason. Busta Rhymes
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, well, you're just gonna use the name of another.
Yep, Freddy.
They're like, well, if
Fredster.
if the Michael Myers market doesn't want it, we'll just give it to the Nightmare on Elm Street one. But he tries to make her feel better. Essentially, just says, well, you're great. All this kind of stuff. I believe in you. All this kind of like just generic crap or whatever. And then the next day, they start moving in. I guess we should talk about one quick part right here is they're in their room. She's on the classic because in the early 2000s Mac was big as well, like Apple and stuff. Right? It's called an iBook. I gotta look this up because this is before MacBook came out. I didn't even know these existed, but it's like a weird little like egg-shaped like
it was like an
egg-shaped
desktop computer.
And she's sending an email.
She's sending an email to a secret admirer of hers, whatever, named Deckard.
His name is Deckard.
Oh, Deckard. Anyone out there like sci-fi, like Blade Runner.
If you got exactly, because I thought it was Star Trek, but yeah, it is Blade Runner. But if you guys are fans out there of the original Disney Channel movies, there was one called The Luck of the Irish. Did you ever see that one?
Sounds kind of familiar.
It's about a dude who like plays basketball, and he like, I guess, is one of his ancestors or something is like a leprechaun or something like that, and then he grows like leprechaun ears.
That sounds
super
awful,
random.
But no, I don't remember. I don't remember this now. Okay.
He was in that, and he was in another one as well called Smart House, I believe. If you ever seen that one, it was about a house. They buy this new house, and it's like it's essentially alive, and then like they get like a programmed like maid as well who's like, but then she like goes evil. It's weird. Disney Channel movies are weird.
All that sounds just scary and sketchy.
But yeah, he was in these movies, so of course Disney Channel wannabes and stuff like that. You're gonna put this in this film, and there was that other guy as well in this film that you said you've seen him before in another horror movie or something.
Yes, and I figured it out. He was in Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So he had the honor of being killed by everybody.
Michael and
Freddy and Jason.
So there's this dude who comes in, and he's saying
this is totally pointless.
I think they were hinting towards in the first flick. I forgot the name of the kid, but there's this kid, which later in number 6, Paul Rudd plays. I forgot his name.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, I think his name is Tommy, which is funny because
Tommy Jarvis.
Tommy Jarvis is in Friday the 13th.
I know.
believe
I'm
it
just
or not.
saying.
Well, that's the thing. I think they actually took the name from Halloween as well. But he sees in the first film, he sees Michael Myers kill the babysitter's friend or whatever. So in the sixth movie, he has like a trauma, and he's like this weird dude played by Paul Rudd as well. I believe that in this film, that is supposed to be him, but in college now, perhaps. I don't know if that's exactly him, but he comes in and he's like telling the story of Michael Myers in this creepy voice and trying to be all spooky. Do you ever just walk into somebody's room and just kind of join the conversation?
All the time. Think about how many horror movies that someone just randomly pops up and has to tell them the tale of how they're going to get murdered.
Yeah,
something bad's
Friday the
gonna happen
13th does that.
all the time, especially if it has something to do with like burial grounds and ancient, ruins or whatever out in the forest or something. There's always something that just pops as you shouldn't go further. Yeah, all that crap. So
I think they did that, and that started in Dracula, I believe. I believe there's a character in Dracula that warns the main character not to go to Dracula's castle, and it's very similar in a bunch of horror movies. Like, do not go here; it's doomed. You'll be cursed.
What? The first thing you do is immediately ignore that advice and continue straight forward anyways.
Yes, because you're
stupid.
Because you're dumb, you're oblivious, because you're young and you're obsessed with fame. That's like the whole.
Yes.
Their whole motive
is wrong.
Their whole motive, though, in this whole movie is to be famous for. You think you're gonna be famous off a.
Which, again, wasn't explained because, like, they say fame, they say money, they mention money, like, I'm getting paid, not how much. Like, none of it makes any sense. Like, there's no, like, okay, this is the prize, this is what you're doing. Instead, it's, like, all over the place. Like, literally, some people are talking about some money, so I don't know. It's stupid.
So it's bad. So they go and talk to their other friend about this, the chef dude or whatever, Rudy. And like you were saying, and the set, whoever designed the set in this movie, it's just really like everything is so perfect, like you were saying.
Yeah, too fake because it's like we're talking about college kids, a culinary college kid, like everything's perfect. I have cooked plenty of times before,
and it gets messy.
It gets
right?
real messy.
Yeah.
It is perfect. It's like cooking show quality where they have control of everything. They keep it all nice and clean for them. But watch a competition cooking show, everything's everywhere, and so it's all clean for some reason. But it's like whatever. They don't care. That's why I'm saying about that weird aesthetic of this entire movie. Like why I just can't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Besides just the bad quality, it's like all of it. Which I guess I could take this opportunity because Michael Myers already showed up. I've seen. This is the third one with actually Michael Myers in it. He is the least threatening I've ever seen this character
in this film.
Now you can talk to me more about this because this is again talking about like so I can compare this to Godzilla.
Yes.
There's literally like almost 30 different Godzilla designs, and if you're in the community of liking that stuff, you're like, oh, I love this one over this one. I can see that's the same thing because that's just how Tim is with Jason designs and Freddy designs and Michael Myers designs. It's like, to me, this is the least threatening I've ever seen this character. Okay, he looks like a combination between a crackhead baby mama and what was the other?
He's got that pimp walk too.
Yeah, the pimp walk. But there was someone else. What else he looked like to me? No, he has these big ass lips, his eyes. He looks like a crackhead baby mama, and he's like 5'0" nothing.
Yeah,
like 5'0" nothing, not physically intimidating.
Short dude. Yeah.
The wig on the mask keeps like going from being slicked back to then like spread out
in the beginning. It's very spread out.
Like he stuck his finger into an electrical socket, and I just don't know what the hell they were doing. Like I know that they I heard that people like different masks, like from the different movies.
Well,
but like, so
I guess I'll go into it.
Yeah,
because
this would be where you can help me. I just want to bring this up because it's like Michael's already appeared in the movie. It's not like a reveal. It's like he looks embarrassing in my opinion every time I see him.
Well, the first mask, what it was based off of.
It was
William Shatner.
It was literally a William Shatner mask.
William Shatner from a Star Trek. Yeah, it was Captain Kirk painted to be white. And so my thing is just. Oh my God. I know that different production companies do different movies. I totally get that.
Yes.
But at some point, if you're going to license out your movie, John Carpenter, get the same mask for every film because every single film has a different mask.
Yeah.
The first and the second one, I think, are completely different masks. The fourth one has a completely different mask from the fifth one, fifth from the sixth, whatever. So in H2O and Resurrection, my good buddy Vince, who was on the podcast a while back, he pointed out how I'd never really noticed this, but in the first 6 films, I believe, you could not see Michael's eyes. And it was a combination of good lighting as well as just the way that the eyes were cut and everything like that. It's just creepy. In this one, you can see his eyes for some reason.
Totally weird in my opinion.
Super odd. Plus, the hair is, it's going all over the place. In some movies, it's slicked back. Some, it's all over the place. There's no consistency with that as well. But so the guy in the last film as well was like this guy, very similar. I believe it might be the same Michael. I don't exactly know.
And now I was reading that the stunt actor. This was like his first. This is his first time doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, he said if it wasn't slated to be rebooted, which would happen to it, he wanted to play it more.
Yeah.
So this is the only one doing it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm nothing against the guy. He's probably a nice guy, but like I thought he sucked in my opinion.
No, he was really not. No, it was. But I think, like I said, you got to also take the context that this film, the screenplay, the direction was probably not that well oriented.
Oh no, it doesn't help. But I'm just saying, like the idea of what Michael is, at least from what my reading of it, seeing it, is like he's supposed to be just like Jason, or well, I mean, technically Jason comes from Michael actually instead, vice versa.
They did a great job, though. I will say, Friday 13th. There were different actors, but consistently over time, like Jason got better.
Yeah,
and he grew because when he was young. First film, obviously, he was a little boy. Yeah. Second film, he was like a teenager. That looks good. Third, he's like a grown, hulking man. From there on, he's just this big, dominating force. Whoever played him, like, fit the part. Yeah. Whereas, I got to give it to them. They killed it. Whereas Halloween, he's always all over the place. Sometimes he's really tall. Sometimes he's really short. Fifth one, he's super tall and he's super skinny. And then this one, he's like at least half the size.
He's literally a midget. That's why I'm saying. Oh no, that's what it was. He looks like, I see so many funny videos on Facebook and stuff. People talk about how much like they're excited for Halloween season, and it's like videos of them wearing a Michael Myers outfit and doing dance moves,
dancing and stuff.
This is what that looks like. It looks like a costume like that for a feature length movie, and that's what bothers me. Like I'm waiting for like the TikTok music to hit or like the clip to be over. It pisses me off because I'm like, this doesn't threaten. Like I know that's the whole point of like characters like this. They're the unstoppable evil, big, intimidated, hulking. That's what I got from the first one. That's what I got from the reboot, the 2018 reboot. Was that
2007 Rob Zombie? There's a dude named Tyler Mane. This dude's like 6'6" or something. He's so tall and he's freaking creepy. Like it's a really like well made portrayal of Michael. Very creepy. The mask is terrifying, and it's just well done.
So that's what gets me. That's what like that stuff makes sense to me. The same thing like with Jason when he's giant, he's hulking. Kane Hodder, was I know he played Jason like four times in a row.
Started in I think it was the 7th one or the 6th one. One of those.
He started 4 times in a row, and then he did Freddy vs. Jason, I think.
Yep.
And so, but he's like huge and like,
he's huge.
Like
plays
it works
well.
for me.
Yeah.
But this, I gotta bring it up now because he's already been revealed in the movie. He sucks balls. Like I can't take it seriously.
No, he's
the fact he's supposed to be this machine that kills people when really I just feel it looks like your little brother. Your little brother put on a costume and is trying to scare you. That's what this whole thing.
Well, there's one point that we'll get to in the movie where Busta Rhymes dresses up as Michael, and we thought that was Michael. That's how bad Michael is in this movie, that he doesn't stand out compared to somebody.
Looks exactly the same.
Exactly. The fact that Michael Myers can be played by Busta Rhymes and look just like the other stuntman who's playing Brad Loree or whatever his name is playing Michael. Like that's how you know he's a bad Michael. But so essentially, all these kids, after all this like get together and everything like that,
they finally get to the house.
They finally get to the house, and they're all kind of just talking to him, and they're setting up cameras as well. And the dude that's setting up cameras, which I think his name is Charlie in the film, he's setting up a camera with like a giant spike at the end of it. There's like a knife at the end of his tripod.
He's using a tripod, and he's also being.
For those that don't know what a tripod is,
a tripod is a tool that's used by filmmakers, photographers. That literally is a three-legged.
It's got three-legged
piece that you pretty much pull out, and it's able to steady a camera, either for filming for pictures or filming for video. It's to steady it so you can either film shots more easy, or you can set it up so you can just walk away and
keep the camera there.
Keep it there in a position. It's to position a camera. Exactly. And so usually when you use these pieces of equipment, they don't have sharp objects to kill you with. But for some reason, I guess my man was buying from the Halloween store at the time, or maybe the medieval section of like Walmart. So he sets up this camera, and he's talking to Tyra Banks' character through a intercom system of some kind, and they're so-called bantering back and forth. In a really
she's in like the shed
way.
in the backyard.
Yeah,
which
she's
is
in the
where
shed,
her and
looking
Busta
fine
will
as
hang
hell. I
out.
must say.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. God, she's hot.
She's fine.
So, anyways, my horny boy ways out of the way there. She's looking good. They're arguing back and forth, and she just starts to focus on making her drink and walks away. And the guy gets spooked by Michael, thinking it's someone making, a joke or whatever.
It doesn't say anything.
Doesn't a single thing. He's just like, as soon as he realizes it's Michael, doesn't say a single thing. Michael picks up this tripod, I don't know, presses a button or something, and out pops like this.
Well, that was there because when he was
there.
There was a shot earlier beforehand. I noticed it because I saw this. We were watching it last night as well. My buddies, and I noticed it as well when he pulls up the camera. So there's the traditional 3 legs, and then there's just one really long leg that's that one that he uses to kill him for some reason. I'll have to show you it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to because I thought it sounded like I heard a button that went whoosh, and then it just went.
Maybe they did like do some post of that, but like when he picks up that thing, it already has it out.
Okay.
Like so,
right.
when
I thought
Charlie
I heard something,
it,
but either way, he picks it up, and now there's just like a giant knife sticking out of this tripod, for no reason, like a spear, and he walks towards this guy extremely slowly. The guy says nothing, doesn't say, "Hey,
nope,
save me," "Hey," screaming. He says,
"Hey, why are you
thing.
putting me against the wall?" Like he posts
anything.
him up.
Like you'd be like, "What the hell? What's going on? This isn't funny. This isn't funny." Instead, it's just silence, and he just gets stabbed right through the neck.
Yep.
And then gets dragged off, and during all this, Tyra Banks is still getting her dumbass cappuccino or whatever.
Yep, and then he drops the camera on the floor, Michael, on the way out.
And she thinks that it's another camera angle. She loves it, and his dumbass body's getting dragged off into the corner.
Yep. So after this part, there's a lot that goes on here, and I don't really remember too much. They all get into the house, obviously, and the party's starting. At the same time, you have Deckard and his buddy.
Yep.
The one dude's like, we gotta go to Mickey Stern's birthday party.
Yeah, Mickey Stern, Mickey Stern,
party.
bro.
Dude, yeah, it's the biggest party of the year.
You gonna miss it, bro?
Yeah, like he's really like getting into it. So then they eventually go to this party dressed up as, what is their
Vincent
names?
Vega and Jules Winifred.
That's his name, Winifred?
Yeah.
Really?
I think it's either Winifred or Winifred. I think it's maybe Winfield. Because he always refers to him as just Jules in the movie.
Yeah, I thought it was just Jules. Winfield.
Winfield,
yeah.
But it's Vincent Vega. Yeah, because he never calls him by his last name, but I know that how it's spelled.
Mm-hmm.
He's dressed up in there. Horrible job, by the way, because he doesn't even have his actual look in the movie. He's actually got like a Fu Manchu goatee going on.
For some reason.
And for some dumbass reason, this movie he looks like Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit,
Who? Wait, which one? The one who's playing Jules?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because he's got just an afro and a soul patch. He just looks like freaking...
No blackface, thank God.
Thank God for that. But not even the good facial hair. And instead, he just looks like he's going to start breaking out with rolling, rolling, rolling.
Yeah, that dude looks like the kind of guy who would wear blackface.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know why.
I agree
he's
with
kind
you
of
on that.
like you were saying, like these guys look like the classic like 90s like poster boy douchebags.
No, they're like literally like... They're like a collectible, like the action figure, Megazord, or the Power Rangers Megazord, where you had to literally put pieces together to form one giant. Literally, like these guys are like those Megazord douchebags, where you take every like trope of these kind of idiots from these movies from the 90s and the early 2000s, and you just put them together. That's literally like they have the spiky hair.
Yep.
They've got the douchebag personalities, same fashion sense.
Yep.
Their bedrooms look the same.
Yeah, and the one dude's bedroom's awesome though.
Yes,
remember?
It was.
The one dude, he has this on his wall. He has this like tapestry, not even like a paint. I don't know. It's just a giant
painting
picture
kind of the Earth.
Yeah, from
the moon.
The shot
which
of
is really cool.
Yeah,
you see space and everything. It was actually probably the coolest thing about the movie.
Yeah,
was seeing that one part.
Bedroom design. Yeah,
but you got these two douchebags. They want to go to this, or he gets coaxed to go to the party. So they go to the party instead of watching this episode of this reality show they're going to be filming.
And of course, he finds a room that has a computer.
Yeah, for some reason. And he just ends up...
A computer that's, like, separated. Like, the computer's all the way on the other side of the room, and he's sitting at this desk.
Like a projection, like a weird projection, like, room where he's sitting at the desk, and you can see the TV from across the room. Whatever. Too many questions.
Whatever.
Yeah, so he's in there. He hooks up eventually, and then pretty much literally... I don't know how much you actually remember of it, but it literally was a jumbled mess of all of them going through the tropes of hanging out, bantering back and forth, a lot of rapey behavior. So I want to get into that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of just touching and grabbing and, like I said, forced horniness. It's not genuine horniness, because genuine horniness is where you're with somebody for a good period of time on camera, and then you eventually, like some movies do that. They take like an hour and a half in, and then they realize they really like each other, and there's a sex scene.
The slash movies I have seen, they just already start them off as couples.
Yeah, they're
already together. So
yeah.
then it's as simple as like, oh, they're together. So now they're gonna start being like, oh, you want to go away, and you know.
Well, Samurai Cop said it best at that one part when Peggy says to the other cop, she says, "No, not that part with the finger. No, I'm thinking of the one part. We ain't got anything else better to do. Let's fuck."
Yeah.
Like, that's literally, essentially how they wrote all of these characters in this movie.
Yeah,
like,
literally. But
we're bored. We don't know what to do. Let's just fuck.
Which I wish life was that simple.
Just that basic.
I really wish it was, but it's not a porno with a pizza delivery guy. I'm sorry.
I
wish.
One part, though, in the beginning of this film or the beginning of, like, when they get into the house that I never realized. So they're in the kitchen, and they find this, like, spice drawer, and then they figure out that so this is the weirdest, like, little detail. They find out that one of the spices is fresh. Like, they expected it. Obviously, Michael's house is abandoned. Yeah. And so that ties in near the end of the film where you find out that Busta Rhymes rigged the house and he made it, he placed everything. Everything's all, everything was already done. Why did he change the spices? Like, think about that.
Well, that's where you have to ask, who did he change the spices? Because then also on top of that, he said that he rigged everything, but then also Michael's been living under the house this entire time.
You think he's cooking? You think Michael's cooking?
Yeah, I think he'd be spicing up.
How does he get spices? Like, does he go to the store with his mask on or something?
Well, think about it.
Well, now he can nowadays.
Now he can. Well, I was gonna say now he can. Or remember, he was kind enough to take his mask off for the paramedic scene.
Oh,
so maybe he just, during his downtime,
maybe he does it when he wants to.
Yeah, he just, he takes off the mask, just quietly comes into a supermarket, grabs what he needs, just checks out and leaves. Or maybe even just steals it. He just walks in, grabs someone, and just leaves.
I love this idea that Michael is just this kind of like shut in that just wants to have his privacy, his quiet peace, and then these kids out of nowhere decide to go into this house.
That's literally it. That's like, see, I think that's what it is. He's literally just a recluse that likes to work out, and he just likes to do one-arm pull-ups in his basement. And instead, everyone's got to always harass him. He just wants to eat his rats and get his gains. And instead, these kids are just harassing. They always want to just fuck in his house, and he's like, why do I have to deal with this? He's probably sitting on his recliner, kicking back, watching some soaps, and all of a sudden he hears some creaking on the floor, and he's like, oh, son of a bitch.
Here they go again.
I gotta do it again. And he takes out his knife, and he's like, well, here we go.
I'm ready to go. So yeah, everyone splits up.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
The Brittany Murphy archetyped and the other dude.
Mr. Rapey McGee.
Rapey McGee.
Which my boy literally continues to keep making comments to her, like sexually aggressive comments. Not even like flirting.
I don't think she's even into it, like, for a little bit.
No, that's why that's why it creeped me out, because again, what you were talking about, there was no chemistry. There wasn't even a setup. Like I said, the horror movies I have seen, you usually always either have a romance that builds the entire movie, or you already have them together. So that way it makes sense. They're going off to go have sex.
It does.
Like, it already makes sense because they're ready to do it. No, it's literally there's no one together, and instead it's this really creepy dude who keeps trying to touch Brittany Murphy, touch her, constantly grabbing her ass, her boob, talking about having sex with her in front of her, and she's just getting more creepy, and she's kind of laughing it off. And I was like, oh, it's because she probably got practice with Harvey Weinstein when he forced to have a meeting.
That's how she got the role.
It's probably the same smile she gave Harvey Weinstein when he was probably saying the same stuff. So
she's used to it by then.
So she's with Rapey McGee. She had him.
Then eventually, like, some stuff happens, and then they kind of like disband, and then we don't know where Rapey McGee went. And then we find out he's looking in front of a mirror for some reason, saying, I'm going to get her back, because she ended up scaring one of the other people.
I'm going to get her back. I'm just going to,
get her back. I'm going to tie her down.
I'm going to touch her. I'm going to touch her, but she doesn't look, when she's not looking. I'm like, God, this dude's just creepy. I kept saying, I hope he goes first. And sure enough, here comes Michael bursting through the mirror. He grabs him
and kills him.
Kills him dead.
I forgot how he kills him. I don't even remember, honestly.
No, I think he just grabs him and then it doesn't. I think it just cuts.
I think or something.
No, okay, yeah, they kill. You do see how he dies. This shows you how much we don't really care. They make you don't really care.
We don't really care. Yeah.
He dies. They're they go about their business.
And then the redhead and the other rapist as well.
He was a different version of the rapey attitude. His was like some weird, like he was trying to be like cool and mysterious. Not like cool, cool, mysterious, dickish, like making comments, making really sexually aggressive jokes of like having sex and whatever. And she was blowing him off.
And they find this like tunnel in the floor in the basement.
Yeah.
And then they go down there and they start making out and all this stuff. They put the cameras down because each contestant has like a camera laced, which is so awkward. Like it looks like a giant flashlight taped to the side of their head. And they put it down, and then they start making out and having sex and all this kind of stuff. And then a wall collapses out of nowhere.
Yeah, nowhere.
Don't know how this even worked. I thought Michael Myers
into him too.
Yeah. Which usually means someone from the other side had to push it or something, which is weird. Maybe it was Michael, but at the same time, how the hell did you, Busta Rhymes? I just want to know, how did you build a wall, put stuff back there, and then replace the wall, like knock down the wall to get back there, and then put it in,
Not just that. Holy shit. See, this is what happens when I start talking to you. We start going too far into this. How did he do that when Michael lives literally right there?
Right around the corner, yeah.
He literally has been... So Michael's been living there for 20 years or whatever. Busta Rhymes rigs this house. He literally puts that stuff down there, right there, which is then revealed later by the redhead. I guess we can go to that next because that's what actually happens next.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Stuff falls over. They're like, oh my God, and then
all these like fake body parts.
Well,
and
first they think they're real, and then he
stuff,
finds the one that says made in Taiwan. He realizes it's a sham, and he just made all this crap up. And so, what's his name? That 70s rapist. He runs off to go tell everybody. She, because she's white and dumb, she decides to check out the hole in the wall,
which is Michael's like little secret.
And she
getaway.
gets in there. She realizes eventually, too late, that that's actually where Michael lives because she finds a bunch of dead rats.
And
that have been eaten.
There's a newspaper clipping taped above his bed for some reason.
Of Lori for whatever reason. It's just weird. But anyways, he lives there. She gets caught. He ends up killing her.
Puts her through like a
spike that's on the gate.
Which she could have easily climbed over this gate.
Could have easily climbed over this gate, stabs her on the spike, and then most of these deaths don't even make any sense because, like, obviously they wanted to be quick because they want to be over on the next scene. But like we talked about, she most likely wouldn't have just died immediately by being stabbed right in the stomach with a spear. Probably would have lasted a long time.
Yep.
But anyways, knowing that, what you just said, holy shit. Our man Freddie, whatever the hell his name was, Busta Rhymes, he went and bust a move downstairs and rigged everything 5 feet away from where Michael lives.
That's
Michael
terrifying.
literally kills people.
Yeah.
Michael literally kills people for walking in his house for 5 minutes. How did he rig the entire house?
He must have been gone that day. Maybe he was gone. I was thinking about this. Maybe he was gone remember when in the beginning when Jamie Lee Curtis and everything?
When he's doing the whole thing with Jamie Lee Curtis?
But how did Freddie know when he was going to leave?
Right, exactly. And then how long would Michael be gone? Because the whole point is that he's there to kill Lori and then leave. He's not going to just like go on a vacation for a little while.
I want a movie with just Freddy. Like, his whole backstory, the whole reason why he's obsessed with Kung Fu, his whole Dangertainment scam. I want to see how he sets up everything, how he, that would be actually interesting. Like, maybe not a movie, but maybe like a little short YouTube film or something. Yeah. That'd be kind of cool.
So Redhead dies.
And then
he tries to come up to tell everybody, what's his name? That 70s rapist tries to show up to tell everybody that's a fake.
Yeah.
And
he gets killed, though.
Well, no, in between all this, it's revealed that Busta Rhymes has the Michael outfit.
Yes. And while they're watching at the party, more and more people are watching, and Deckard realizes after the redhead gets killed, he's like, "Wait, she's actually dying for real. It's not." And everyone else thinks that.
They're like, "No, it's hilarious."
Just making college kids look stupid, of course.
Because it's just such a high bar for college kids, man.
Yeah, they're just.
It's like, especially those ones that go to Fredonia.
I know.
The dumbest motherfuckers ever.
Dumbest idiots.
Yeah,
exactly.
Especially when they have red hair. Where are the brains on those ones?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he reveals that he has his own Michael costume. And
he's walking around the house, like we said. We thought that he was actually Michael Myers because it's so badly portrayed.
Literally the same. But then there's this hilarious scene where he literally just ghettos his way out of getting killed by Michael Myers by saying, "Yo, what you doing? What your ass doing? Here, you get over there."
Yeah, he thinks it's Charlie. He thinks it's the guy who set up the cameras who dies earlier. us as an audience know that he's dead. So obviously
and
that's
literally Michael. He ghettos him to the point where he just goes, okay, and just turns and walks away.
Yeah.
He literally, Michael Myers just literally just turns and walks away.
So that first encounter, Busta Rhymes is able to literally tell Michael to go away, and Michael goes away.
And he just goes away. Why? Whatever. Plot. So he tries to attack the remaining people. He gets hit by that 70s rapist who's ready to beat him to death, but he reveals who he is.
Yes, that is where he was. Yes.
Yeah.
And then he reveals everything. Freddy's like, obviously, this is all sham. Reality is fake, so we really, reality is boring.
Yes. So please live this up for me. Help me. They say, I guess, or whatever. He just puts his mask off and runs off for some reason.
And because all the cameras, because he's like, shut all the cameras off after he gets beat. The cameras come back on. Freddy's gone, but they're all just standing there. Like, how awkward would that be? You see Michael Myers about to kill these 3 people or whatever, and and then it just cuts to
they're just standing there.
They're standing there
and have
spot.
an awkward conversation. Should we continue this? Shouldn't we? I mean, I would be like, I'm out of here. I'm not dealing with this shit.
Which they do because they try to get out of the front door and they can't get out of it.
Well, what happens? They're about to get out, and then Brittany Murphy ends up finding this is happening. Brittany Murphy's being the klutz.
Tries to pull down
all
the attic
blondes
for
are.
some. Yeah,
she's trying to pull down the attic pull down string, and then reveals that whatever his name was, the first rapist.
Yes.
His body comes flinging out of it, and she freaks out. And of course, here comes Michael. Michael comes out for that classic decapitation.
Another decapitation,
again, which
dude.
Again, he has a butcher knife.
We got 2 already. Now
we got 2 already,
3.
and then I don't know a ton about knives and swords. I do know a little more about swords because martial arts.
Knives are sharp, but not
they're
that
sharp. But
sharp.
I don't think a butcher knife you can literally just
really got to get in there. You got to put some arm. You really got to put some.
I can't remember if I listened to a video or some experts or people talking. Like I think it was medical people talking about how hard it is to actually decapitate somebody.
You got to put,
and you have to actually have like either the force or the right weapon to just do that. So the idea in like a lot of movies where someone just whoosh, like off, no problem. You gotta have the right weapon. So he just has a butcher knife and he just goes wink and off goes her head. Now I know, like, isn't Michael supposed to be supernaturally powerful or some bullshit or whatever?
No, he's not. And
whatever.
The fans will say that he is because they think because you see Jason becoming almost supernatural by the end of the series, and now I'm like, it's bullshit. And her head flies downstairs, classic dramatic in the slow mo.
Yep, more slow mo. Finally, as the head hits the floor, everybody's like, "Oh shit, this is real." Then they start freaking out. And then that's time to once again start splitting up or trying to fight back or whatever. That 70s rapist tries to fight back. He ends up getting in a Vulcan mind meld where Michael, for whatever reason, just puts his knife off to the side.
Yep.
And then just grabs his head and squeezes him to death.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's dead. He real dead. Then next, our culinary student is like, nah, man, I gotta protect my white woman. So he's like, he starts fighting Michael, which kind of goes like back and forth kind of good for a while. He's over there like, grabbing knives, holding him off until eventually he just loses. He gets stabbed like 4 or 5 times or whatever.
Yep, he gets stabbed like in a door in the back of the door,
which I thought was probably a homage to
the first
movie one.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, the first movie was better. But
there's also homage in the beginning of this movie where like when Michael kills the one dude, he kind of does the head tilt in the shadow in the beginning with the cop. There's all these. How about like we just stop referencing the first movie and make an original sequel?
No, that's stupid.
Can't do that.
That's stupid. Well, he kills the culinary guy that leaves the one chick who's the main character.
To just run around the house like it's a Benny Hill skit.
Literally, she runs around until eventually
the Benny
she
Hill
finds
theme, like that
or the Scooby-Doo, anything Scooby-Doo related, because it literally is just running from one room to the next. She's in one room for some reason trying to contact Deckard, and that turns into some weird...
It's so failed because it doesn't do anything. I mean, he helps her get out to different rooms and get away from Michael, but at the end of it, like, she never meets Deckard. There's really no point of Deckard.
It doesn't make any sense except for just getting her out of that situation. But so she's trying to get out, and it looks like all hope is lost till here comes my favorite part of the movie, which I guess Aiden was not wrong about, did not disappoint. Fucking Busta Rhymes busts his ass into the doorway and literally starts fighting Michael Myers
kick, right?
with kung fu. and this man literally jumps, spinning kicks this fucker right in the face. I was dying because I was not expecting that. That was hilarious. He nails one kick. They kind of struggle for a little bit, and then he Spartan front kicks him out the window. And I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. So stupid. Didn't make any sense, but it was amazing why this was in here.
Yep, and while he's hanging off the edge of the roof, which I noticed, there's a shot of the camera looking up at Michael hanging off the roof.
He got hung. When he fell out, the rope tie.
Yeah, he's like hanging off the roof or whatever.
Yeah, why he
they
didn't get killed. Yeah.
It's just soundstage. You can see the roof and everything. You could see that they're filming in a studio. They just left this shot in there because it's lazy. Like I said, the screenwriting is lazy. The way they film this movie is lazy. The characters, the acting is terrible as well in this movie.
Well, like I said, you have a couple options that actually could be even worse. That they didn't have the money. Like, they actually looked and noticed that happened, but because there'd be too much money to get that shot again, they're like,
shoot it.
They're like, no one's gonna notice. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the editor really fucked up on this.
So literally, then the next couple scenes is Busta Rhymes. I mean, every time he's on this movie, I'm laughing my ass off because how he's talking. It's like he's the hype man for his own movie in this movie. So as he's talking like he's just promoting his new rap album, and I love it.
Yeah, he's great.
So he's talking to her, and they're like, "Oh, he's still alive," and she's like, "Shit, he's still alive." And then all of a sudden, turns into another. Of course, he's alive, and he comes out and he stabs him in the shoulder, and like the weirdest angle, two times in the shoulder. Like, not close to his heart, but just a weird-ass angle. He just, like, drops to the floor. He's assumed dead.
Supposed to be dead.
And then she runs out to the shed for, obviously, whatever God
Well, she
reason.
runs to the tunnels. And the tunnels, she's running through the tunnels.
Oh, right, yeah.
She finds this, like, exit, which leads her to the shed.
Okay.
So she gets in the shed, and she knocks over I think it's like a lawnmower or something.
Yeah, no, she closes the gate trying to block him from coming up, and she's just like chucking everything at this. She throws a lawnmower, turns it over, like does nothing.
Which doesn't even do anything. Yeah,
it does nothing except for it leaks the gasoline out of it,
which will lead. Yeah. Poor, as we said, poor screenwriting.
Poor screenwriting. So she's doing that, and whatever reason, he appears, outside the shed, and of course here it comes, and she falls back into a closet for a second. And he starts coming and gets a chainsaw, which almost does nothing as she screams about justice for her friends that she cares about. And I don't know why, but whatever.
She didn't really connect with any of these
No,
people.
she's just like, shh, this is for Jerry. Shh, this is for Mary. Shh, this is for Uncle Ben.
But it's like, you didn't like...
No, she didn't
You
care.
didn't have any friendship with these people. Yeah, there's no connection whatsoever.
So she tried doing that. That did nothing. And that just turns into a half-assed sparks of flying everywhere. Where the event lights the shed on fire, knocks each other back, and
she gets they both get knocked back.
They both get knocked back, and then she comes to, and she is just weighed down by the crushing weight of like a laptop or a mixer, an audio mixer and some cords. Like that was it.
And
nothing.
Probably 20 pounds, if that. Not even.
Yeah, probably not even that. Literally lying there like she just can't move. At all.
Can't just slide her legs out of it.
And here comes Michael doing the usual, popping up from where he's at, and she's don't know.
Oh no.
And sure enough, here comes my man. Oh, and he's over there. Yo, what's up, Mikey? What's up, what did he say? You're going to have a shit Halloween? I don't know. He
said trick or treat, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's what he said. Dumbass. It says trick or treat. And then he fights him again. He gets knocked back.
Michael goes into the cords that were hanging from the ceiling.
Busta gets knocked back, and then he gets a chance to shock him. He pretends that he plays dead. He plays dead, grabs the cord, shocks Michael right in the balls. He gets knocked back to some cords.
Right in the balls.
Right in the balls. He gets knocked back to some cords, and he just awkwardly kind of just like stands there in the cords. He gets like so-called electrocuted, and then he says one more one-liner, and then they run off, and then the entire shed so-called burns to the ground.
And then the end of it, real quick.
So lame.
Cops and everything show up. Everyone shows up. Reporters show up. What does he say? The one line Busta Rhymes says to them, like, stop reporting, essentially.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, I'm done with this report. I was like, again, like I said, every time he shows up in the movie, I love it because he's like promoting his own rap album, and he's like cutting a promo.
Yeah.
Call it like wrestling terms. He's cutting a promo with every single thing he says, and he comes in, he starts saying, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with this report. And I'm done with all this. There's no more tie-ins, no more sequels, no more this that. I'm like, what?
No more sequels.
Like, what are you talking about?
Like, this whole series is sequels. This whole series is tie-ins.
And then Deckard, they just thank each other, and then that's it. That's it for that part of the movie. Oh no, wait, sorry.
And then there's the final.
They're
shot.
bringing Michael out, and he's in a body bag, and they're like, "Oh, I just want to see his face," and they're like, "He's pretty bad, miss." And they take a look. The camera doesn't show, and
they don't know.
And they just go on. They just go on with their lives. Busta Rhymes is just like, "Yeah, come on, baby."
And then Michael gets sent to the morgue, and then at the morgue, essentially, what happens?
At the morgue, what's gonna happen? Well, even better is that the lady gets left, who's working on the dead bodies, and these two guys push them in.
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, we got a celebrity here today," and she's like, "Yeah, okay." And they're like, "No, for real, it's Michael Myers," and they just walk off, and she's just like, "I'm like Michael Myers, the dude that constantly keeps dying and coming back to life. You're just leaving him in here with me by myself." And sure enough, she's like, "Okay," well, she just starts walking slowly towards the bag, opens it up,
unzips it,
and looks in, and all of a sudden,
Michael's eyes, and
nope, Michael's dead forever, and the movie's over.
Nope, actually, his eyes open, and Michael's still alive.
Yep, big shocker, and then boom, credits.
I'm surprised they didn't do anything, because they do in the earlier where he gets electrocuted, they do this like weird like voice echo where he's like, there was like a weird kind of like sound effect.
Oh, he did that, yeah. When he was getting electrocuted, yeah, you're right.
I'm surprised he doesn't grunt in this one or something at the end. But
whatever. So yep, he's alive. Great
and
wonderful
and great, because they didn't do anything after this. They didn't ever like continue the storyline or anything. It was just. I think they were maybe hoping for a sequel after this or something to reboot that. But
well, that was one of the trivia pieces I read, is that the only way she agreed. Jamie Lee Curtis, one character was killed, but there was no chance for a sequel for her, at least.
Yeah,
but she was
she
also
get
hoping,
killed off.
But she was also hoping no sequel in general, like that there wasn't going to be.
They
a sequel
could still
in
bring
general.
her back though. She needs to realize that like Hollywood can rewrite anything so that
she obviously remember
and
she
does come back.
Which was the right move for that one. But at the time, it's like I'm not surprised you didn't want to go into another one ever again.
Mm-hmm.
But so sure enough, she's like, yeah, no more sequels, and they're like, yeah, sure, absolutely. And then what's the last shot? Eyes opening, and he's totally fine.
Of course, and he's all good.
Everything.
Yeah. So
Lord.
This movie was written by a guy named Larry Brand, and I'm looking at him right now, and
more like Larry Bland.
That's literally what I was gonna say, dude. He wrote. The only other film that I've heard of that he made was a film called The Girl on the Train. It was in 2014. Awful. It sounds familiar. I don't know if that's the one I'm thinking them. There's always movies where it's like blank on a train or this that. But anyways, he didn't write anything horror related before he got into this. And he didn't do anything. I mean, he wrote screenplay for Mask of the Red Death, which I think is a Poe book. I think it's Edgar Allan Poe. Anyways, has no relation, and I hate when they do that. I don't know if Godzilla does this, but I do know that how any franchise ever that's horror related, they always hire people that have no experience in horror to either write or direct a sequel to a horror franchise. Especially in this dude has no experience writing anything horror related.
Just stuff happens in general where people are just given they're just given the opportunity to do stuff for no reason. They had no other experience, no other. They definitely been doing that here in America with any of the new monster movies.
Well, they do it with Star Wars. They've been giving the one dude, Rian
Johnson.
Yeah, he had nothing related to sci-fi. He had an action movie here, or Looper and whatever, but
even the guy
not fit.
I think it's because that's been something they want to. That's like a new trend, because that way I think it's because they don't have to worry about some director fighting with them. If they just pick some young punk, they don't have to pay him a lot.
Yeah,
and then
he thinks, I'll do whatever they want.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they're like, well, what are they gonna lose? I mean, it can't be it's gonna be super horrible. That's even what happened with the new Godzilla movie. Is the Gareth Edwards guy. Yes, he did make a monster related movie, but it was a super low budget monster movie for $100,000. And it's called Monsters.
Oh, never.
And there's monsters weren't even in the movie at all. So guess what? That's exactly the kind of Godzilla movie that was given, and that was garbage. So it's it's exactly what it kind of happened. So
So this film,
our rating.
Let's do
our
the rating,
sir. Please remember our 1 to 4.
You don't have the sheets here, or
I do, but I think by now,
remember
come
it.
on.
Okay.
Listen, when we start,
I need a refresher for
I'll
something
give you
this
a
bad.
refresh. Okay, don't worry, I got
So
you.
1 is the lowest, obviously. Would never watch it
on our
again.
bad to the bone, meter of just absolute shittiness. We have 1, which is just straight up bad, unwatchable. We have 2, which is meh, kind of like in the middle. Like I really, didn't really like it, didn't love it. And then 3 is enjoyed it, watchable. And then
Still
4
had some problems.
still
though.
some
3
problems.
is still iffy.
3 is like I enjoyed it, it's watchable, but it's still like it's still got
Not
problems.
the best, yeah.
4 is I love it, it's so bad it's good, and I watch it every time it's on, or every chance I get.
Yeah.
So that is our 1 to 4.
All right, let's go with you since you just saw it for the first time.
For me, it was like a 1.5 or 2 because. Okay, so let's try to get through this a little bit. There were some aspects that were funny. Like I said, the Busta Rhymes, like him just being in the movie was just stupid. And the karate, kung fu, being thrown in there of him literally
the best part.
Jump spinning, kicking Michael in the face was I was laughing my ass off on that one.
I knew you'd enjoy that.
That part's hilarious. The movie is horrible. Honestly,
hands down,
it's horrible.
It's
like
not
the writing's
not made,
bad.
No, yeah,
writing's bad, acting's bad. The purpose of it, if even existing, is low. So, like all of that would not make me ever want to watch this again unless I saw it with like my buddy Tim, my buddy Greg, to make fun of it.
Of course.
So that would literally be the only reason I watched that one again. So that's why I give it probably a 1.5 to 2.
But it's not even like a fun bad. Like some movies that are fun bad.
This is just pretty much bad, but I know I could watch it one more time.
Agreed.
To make fun with somebody else to get a different experience, but it isn't fun bad. No, it sucks.
And that's why I would probably put this at a 2. I'm a huge fan of the Halloween series, always have been. This is one that I always avoided. They used to play this on AMC a lot. I remember.
Why? It's like, why would you say, here you go, eat this,
Well, they would AMC every October, and I think they still do it now. They didn't do it for a couple of years when I was younger, but I know that I think they're bringing it back because it's like, streaming is so big. It's kind of an easy way to get people to get off streaming services and go watch cable. They would just release and put out every single Halloween film, and I remember this one used to be on, and we would watch it around Halloween time.
Yeah.
I would actually say I'd rather watch this movie edited on TV than watch it in full like we did. To be honest,
unmerciful.
It's a bad film.
Yeah.
It's not fun, but there are parts of this movie that I do believe that you can sit down and have a good laugh at and kind of have some fun.
Yeah.
Overall, it's not fun, but I would say there's some parts that it's worth suffering for certain parts of it.
Yeah.
But I'd rewatch it. I would definitely. It would have to be. You'd have to give me time. I can't rewatch this all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it was like I said, with the right audience, or even if you did it as part of a marathon during the Halloween season.
Yeah, you
did something where you would
movie.
go and watch all the Halloween movies together
with
somebody who would make fun of them with you or enjoy them with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would work because also you'd have plenty of time to pull yourself together in between viewings, whatever. Yeah, I would definitely not watch.
It's a quick hour and 26 minutes. You're not really losing that much. It goes by pretty quick. I think
I agree with that too.
Out of a lot of the films we watched, this film went by very, very quick.
Yeah.
Compared to something like Going Overboard, which felt like years watching that thing. What's funny, I got the DVD right here, and what's really funny about it, first of all, they're doing the thing that Scream did and a lot of covers did, where the cover of it is just all the people from the actual movies, just piled on top of each other for some reason.
Yep.
But actually what's kind of cool is they put the mask behind it. I always kind of like this cover. It's kind of cool. But what's hilarious is, of course, on the side of the DVD, obviously it says Halloween Resurrection, but down at the bottom, who is that down there?
It'd be Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, and she's in 10 minutes of this movie. Yeah. So you can tell when they were selling this movie, they were saying starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing it says right here. Original Halloween star Jamie Lee Curtis. They are cashing
banking on that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yep. And she's not even have her actual the hair. The hair's not even the same. What I realized looking at the posters I was reading, it's the same exact shot they used for Halloween H20.
H20. Yeah, you could see it right here. It's exactly the same because her hair was short in the last one. Yeah. And in the 90s, she was in True Lies. I forgot what else she was in, but it
was True Lies. Is that the one I can think of?
Right now. And after this, she was in Freaky Friday, and she had short hair. So I think she just had short hair in general, and they just gave her a stupid wig for the beginning of this film. But Scrooge, appreciate you suffering through this.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Seriously, and anybody out there who's like iffy about knows Michael Myers and whatever, avoid this one. Go out and see the fourth one. Is fun. H2O. If you want to see a modern Halloween, go check H2O. The new one, like we were talking about,
it's cool.
I didn't like it that much, but it's tolerable and it's fun, and I could see how people who aren't familiar with the franchise can enjoy it. It's definitely meant for people that have not seen the other films, because one thing that the new film did, to be honest, that I didn't like was they put so many homages to the older films. So fucking many. There's kills in that film that are literally taken from number 2 and number 1. There's so many.
I wouldn't know that because
but you wouldn't know.
I haven't followed the movies like
it's a great film to go see if you either really don't remember the old ones or you're not a part of it. So go see that one. Do recommend Halloween, the Rob Zombie Halloween, which you should check out one day. I think it's a little bit different. It's darker. People don't like how Rob Zombie does, they call it the hellbilly, the hillbilly kind of
I know what you're talking
aspect to it. Yeah. But it's cool. It's got it's good acting. It's got some really good atmosphere, and Michael Myers is portrayed very, very well in that film. So
all right, cool.
Go check it out. And Scrooge, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, brother.
What are your plans for this Halloween?
I'm probably just going to go steal candy from kids.
Perfect. It sounds good.
Yeah. Do I even need a costume?
At gunpoint? Or you should dress up as Michael Myers. I could see it.
See, I would like to do that, but I'd rather just literally go around and punch kids in the face and take their candy.
It's a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
and
you'd
save money.
Yeah. I'd save money because think about the whole. I gotta get the mask. I gotta stand in the bushes for 20 hours and then wait. It's this way. I just walk up, pow, right just in the kisser, and then my candy is mine.
Yeah, well, you could still wear the mask if you wanted to.
I could just use it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Well, awesome. All right. God, this movie sucked. Of course, I'm AC.
I'm Scrooge.
And this was
a real bad movie. That's a good idea to think about. What about the man behind the mask? Like what does Michael Myers do on his day-to-day basis? Does he sit there on the toilet and take a shit with the mask on? He's just sitting there with no clothes, just the mask on? When he's taking a shower, do you think he is just showering as the water just cascades down on the mask and just, smell of the rubber as he just, rubs and soaps himself in every area?